Round one of the Brewers Cardinals bout for the 2001 season began last week in Milwaukee. The two teams traded jabs during the series, creating a tension that could carry over during this four-game series at Busch Stadium. Round two begins today, and the Cardinals are calling on their heavyweight to deliver a knockout punch. That's right, he's back. Big Mac. Mark McGwire returns to the lineup next on WB11. It is an absolutely gorgeous Memorial Day in St. Louis. Big Mac is back. That presence in the Cardinal lineup. And when we show you that lineup a couple of moments from now, you may be a little surprised to see where Mark is batting. The Brewers, after taking 2 of 3 over the Cardinals, are in town. And it's a big four-game series in the National League Central. The Cardinals feature one of the best in-division records in all of baseball. Carpenter, Al Raboski, Rich Gould is with us. Happy Memorial Day. It couldn't be a more beautiful day for baseball. And Al, Mark, you know he's not going to come back until he's absolutely ready. So this may be a guy who will contribute right away.
Well, the one thing is, in fairness to him, is you have to expect his timing to be a little bit off. You can take a lot of batting practice, and obviously he's just been announced. Mark McGwire will be in the lineup, and you can hold the surprise later. But you know, just his presence there. The most home runs in the majors the last 5 seasons, 278. He's got a little competition. A guy named Bonds is trying to chase him. But just having him back is a tremendous lift, and the fans are excited about it, but also the players themselves are very excited. 1, to be home again, and 2, to have their big guy with them in the lineup.
Hey, you folks who live not far from the ballpark, tell your friends, come on down. We've got some seats left. Big Mac's in the lineup today, and Matt Morris, who has been outstanding on the mound for the Cardinals. More from Busch Stadium in a minute. Cardinal Baseball on WB11 is brought to you by Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. By AutoZone, the right part, the right price, and good advice. By your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals on WB11. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. For tires and complete auto service, all you need is Dobbs. And by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 30 years of freedom. 30 years, one mission, low fares. Cardinal Baseball on KPLR TV, St. Louis, WB11. Flagship station of our Cardinal Television Network. A happy Memorial Day to you all. It's a picture-perfect baseball day at Busch Stadium, and Tony La Russa had the pleasure of penciling number 25 into his lineup today. He's with Rich Gould.
Well, Bob, an absolutely perfect Memorial Day is getting better for Cardinals fans in the ballpark and also watching today because Mark McGwire is in the lineup. How about that, Tony? Great to have the big guy back.
Yeah, I think our fans are going to get a kick out of this when that lineup's announced and they see Mark playing, and probably a little surprised he's hitting second, but he's been working so hard, making so much progress that all signs are go.
Well, hitting second surprised me. What's the reasoning behind that, Tony?
Well, I think the big issue is how long is it going to take him to get his timing back. I mean, you put him in the 4th spot, that's adding a lot of responsibility. Albert's doing a good job. If you hit him down, it takes him a while to come to bat. So you get him a bat in the 1st inning, every time the lineup turns around, there he is again. I think the more at-bats he gets, the sooner, the quicker you'll see his timing, and he'll be marked.
I know it's one day at a time with Mark, but have you thought long range? How many at-bats he'll get per game, when he's going to get days off, etc.?
Actually, the doctors and the trainers have put together a plan. I have not seen it yet because, to me, it's all about the first game you play, which is this one. But after the game, I'll look at it. But it's all going to be in pencil, Rich. You'll see how he bounces back, how sore he is, how good he feels, and then you'll erase it and change it.
Good luck today. Nice to have you back in town.
Thank you.
Cardinals have been gone forever, but they're back today. We'll have the starting lineups and first pitch coming up on a beautiful Memorial Day, the Cardinals and Brewers.
Mark McGwire back in the Cardinal lineup today, batting second, 555 home runs, 1,351 RBIs, and he will bat behind Fernando Vina and ahead of J.D. Drew. More on the Cardinal lineup when they come up in the bottom of the 1st inning. Hey, Al, I'm glad to see you were able to scrape a wardrobe together.
Yeah.
Guys, washing all your clothes after that 2-week road trip. It's good to have the boys back in town.
Well, it's good to have Mark McGwire back in the lineup, and I think people have to exercise a little patience with him, try and get his stroke back. But just having his presence is a real shot in the arm and a lift for the team. And being back at home is a welcome surprise, and seeing sunshine and warm weather. Matt Morris is he's going to atone for last week. You know, he lost his first time ever against Milwaukee. He was kind of under the weather, and it's kind of surprising more guys didn't have colds and flu-like symptoms, because we played almost every day in cold and rainy situations or conditions, and Matt was kind of under the weather last time, and his stamina and fatigue were quite evident to me when he was pitching against Milwaukee.
Matt Morris with an ERA of 2.69. That is the 6th best in the National League. We're delayed here a while. We're 1 minute away from game time, but as of yet, the umpires have not made their appearance on the field, and it'll take a couple of minutes. This will be the first game of the series, of course, and the first game always takes a few more minutes. Ask Tony La Russa, who has his lineup card ready. If he takes it out there, we'll get together with the umpires and the other manager or a coach, and first day in, they always have to discuss ground rules, because they're seeing the ballpark for the first time in this series. And Jim McKean, the crew chief, will now lead the crew finally onto the field, as they are a little fashionably late here on Memorial Day. AutoZone division standings in the Central, the Cardinals and the Cubs in a dead heat. We will tell you, though, that the Cubs gave up 3 in the bottom of the first at Cincinnati, and then the Cubs just picked up 4 in the top of the third. So in that game, it's Julian Tavares for the Cubs, and pitching for the Cincinnati Reds, as they got the early lead, is their young right-hander Rob Bell. So it's 4-3 Cubs after 3. Jim McKean, as we mentioned, the crew chief. Jim Joyce will work at first base today. Terry Kraft at second, and Bill Miller at third. And here come your St. Louis Cardinals. What a great day at the ballpark. And first we'll check the Southwest Airlines starting lineup for the Milwaukee Brewers. They are 10th in the league at 253, 7th in runs and 5th in homers. Devon White, the veteran, plays center field and leads off. Mark Loretta back from injury, followed by Jeff Jenkins, one of the budding young stars in this league. Jeremy Burnett's with all that power in the cleanup spot. Richie Sexton at first base, he can hit it a long way. And then Tyler Houston, Jose Hernandez, Raul Casanova, and the pitcher Paul Rigdon.
Appearing for the 11th time is Matt Morris, 6-3. He lost his last one. Today's Chrysler Jeep pitching matchups feature Matt Morris and Paul Rigdon. 67 innings, 61 hits. He's got a good strikeout to walk ratio, and he's lost his last time out, but he has been very efficient this season.
Cardinals defensively tied for 9th in the league right now. And the defense brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Good to see Big Mac over there on the first base side. Pujols, Renteria, and Pena around the infield. It's Langford, Edmonds, and Drew, the left-handed hitting Cardinal outfield, and Mike Matheny is behind the plate today. By the way, the Cardinals, I mentioned earlier, they're 15-7 against the Central. That is one of the best in-division records in all of baseball. Mark's career numbers, we gave you the homers and RBIs earlier. There's his career batting average. Cardinals 15-7. Davey Lopes's Brewers are 2 games over the 500 mark at 25-23. 3 games back of the Cardinals and the Cubs. They're one of baseball's best at home. Only Minnesota has a better home record than their 18-8. But on the road, Davey's Brewers have been horrid, winning only 7 of 22 games. And inside the Central, they're only 12-14. Who's got the best divisional record in all of baseball? How about the Minnesota Twins? 19-5 inside the AL Central. And Seattle inside the AL West with a record of 15-4. So here we are on Memorial Day, and they call this the first true signpost of the year. Teams in first place on this day often go on to win the division, but there's a long, long way to go. We're going to throw the first pitch about 3 minutes late here. Pujols in at third, and a hack by Devon White gets us underway at 1:13 St. Louis time. A remarkable 78 degrees at game time.
Matty Moe, you see the career mark. He lost his first time out against them up in Miller Park and a little bit under the weather. Cardinals have won 7 of the 10 games that Matt has started and 6 of the last 7. Ron White, boy, kid hit a grand slam today, can he?
Not leading off. Low and inside, 2-1. This guy can fly. He's a center fielder of a lot of talent, a lot of speed. And he hits one on 2 hops out to Fernando. Nice little letter high hop. And Big Mac gets the put out on the assist by Vina. So it's always nice when you get a touch on the ball early out there.
And we know that coming back from the knee surgery, it was a lot to do with Mark standing in the batter's box and couldn't push off his knee, but it was just as much standing in the field, shifting weight back and forth for 9 innings.
Well, you know, holding runners, bunt plays, pickoff plays, there's a lot to do over there. First base considered the easiest position, but it's a busy one as well. And a first pitch pop-up off the bat of Mark Loretta. Big Mac says, little guy, I'll let you take it, and Fernando takes it for the second out.
And a lot of that is by design. They're going to try and take as much pressure off of Mark as possible. So if there's a situation where Vina can catch a pop-up or even come in and field a bunt, they're going to try to take the workload off of Mark.
Base is empty, 2 outs. And a guy who any manager in baseball would like to have in his outfield stepping in. Jeff Jenkins.
He snapped a 0 for 12 skid with a single the other day. But this guy has been on a tear. See the numbers. He was on the disabled list for a while. Had a hitting streak going, and then he came back off the disabled list and continued it for a while before they went into Chicago, where they ran up against Kerry Wood one day.
There's a drive. If it's fair, it's gone, and it is to the right of the foul pole into the upper deck, and a loud strike 2. Jeff Jenkins can hit the ball a mile. He's hit 9 homers already this year. And this is a guy with a .291 career batting average in his young career.
See, it is the foul ball, so a bit of relief for Matt. Not noted to give up too many long balls, only 6 on the season. He usually has that good sinker working.
Matt's only giving up 1 homer about every 11 innings. And then he comes high and tight, and Jenkins takes a long look at him.
And we're going to have warnings right away. There's testy blood between these. I was almost surprised that neither side was warned as the lineup cards were exchanged. But, you know, Matt Morris, part of the reason he doesn't give up a lot of home runs is that sinking fastball, but also the fact that he pitches effectively inside.
Now Tony's
getting in with Burnitz, and I think Mark McGwire will come over, and both benches will empty right now.
Tony La Russa and Jeremy Burnitz jawing at each other. Then Davey Lopes came out of the Milwaukee dugout, and then everybody followed. Now the bullpen guys are running in.
Well, there's some little pushing and shoving in there, but they're going to be a little.
The thing you don't want to get here, Al, is any of your key players ejected 4 minutes into the game.
Well, and you notice too, I see 3 of the umpires that are just saying let it go. Now they're getting Bobby Bonilla, and it's, what is it, Rod Carew.
Looks like Rod Carew patting Bobby Bonilla on the chest.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. Look at Devon White there with Bobby Bo, but there's some bad blood between them. And you see 3 of the umpires are just standing around and say, well, if they want to go at it, let them go.
And evidently the only umpire that I can see in the middle of it might be
the
young
one.
Bill Miller, the rookie umpire.
Yeah, but I mean, right now, Pujols and Langford and guys got to get away and just let them go back to the dugouts. Let the umpires settle it with with the managers.
Well, I don't know exactly what triggered Burnitz and La Russa, who spoke up first.
Well, what's triggered it was what had happened last week. And
yeah, well, my point is, I'm wondering who got into it first, hollering at the other, and then obviously there was a reaction.
McGwire's Jenkins over here.
And now Dave Duncan is jawing over there with Jeff Jenkins. I mean, this thing isn't over yet.
Well, it's gonna be around for 4 days. The umpire crew is going to have their hands full, and it's going to be things festering. But you know, the thing is right now is that everybody's still in the game. But right now, the umpires would have a legitimate shot to start throwing anybody out if they continue from this point forward.
Well, we talked about round 2. Here's the 0-2 pitch after Jenkins had hit one into the upper deck foul. He takes a long look, and he and Matt are exchanging some words, and evidently nothing was going to happen. And then about at this point, Jeremy Burnitz, who was coming from the on-deck circle, he looked straight across, and he and Tony La Russa started going at it, and that led to both benches emptying.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people in the National League that think that this is something that Tony's teams do frequently. You have to pitch inside, but you'll never see the balls going up around helmets. There's Bonilla, who looked like he kind of flicked the helmet off. But
now Davey Lopes having an extended conversation with Jim McKean. You know, Alan, and what the next step you and I need to take on this thing, similar situation as we had here a couple of weeks ago when the Mets were here. Now you have to wonder about the intent. I mean, if somebody gets brushed back, they're not automatically thrown out of the game anymore. The umpires have to judge the so-called intent of the situation before they make their decision. So if somebody else goes down here, it doesn't necessarily mean they will be thrown out unless the umpires think it was purposeful.
Yeah. See, the old rule to me was better. The old rule was once both sides were warned, any batter that was hit, whether it was intentional or not, was immediately, the pitcher and manager were immediately ejected. Now it's up to an umpire's decision, you know, or judgment. Well, but they also gave the umpires the power this year that they don't have to warn somebody. If they think somebody was intentionally thrown at, he's automatically ejected. So why even warn people?
And you know, sometimes when teams get together like this, you got a lot of spikes in there kicking away at each other. Mike Matheny doing what he can to get Matt Morris, first of all, away from there to not get kicked out, but secondly, not to get injured with all those feet flailing away in there.
Well, the easiest thing to do is get your hands stepped on. The last thing you want to do is get down in the middle of a pile. I've been down there many times, but that's when you get stepped on, your hands, and obviously for a pitcher that's a little more serious than it is for a position player. But we knew that this was something that was going to brew. We just didn't know when. And maybe it's the best thing to have it happen this early in the 4-game series. But the one thing, if you're a pitcher, and you're a pitcher like Matt Morris, you still have to be able to pitch inside. It's Memorial Day.
Now, where is Jeremy Burnitz? He has gone back to the dugout. Has he been ejected? We'll have to wait and see. Jeremy Burnitz is no longer getting ready to hit.
Well,
he has gone back to the dugout.
And watch Bonilla and the helmet of Jeremy Burnitz. And that was the only exchange right there.
I don't know exactly what's going on here.
Tyler Houston's in the game.
Tyler Houston's batting 5th or 6th. He's in the on-deck circle. Richie Sexton. I don't know what's going on here.
Well, Burnitz is the scheduled hitter.
Exactly.
And he left the batter's box.
And now the two ensuing hitters are out in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, so you wonder if, and we'll have to wait and see. I guess it doesn't do as good to speculate because we won't know about Bonilla if those two combatants were ejected.
Well, now we know why Davey Lopes was having such a long conversation with Jim McKean, debating whether or not Jeremy Burnitz should have been thrown out of the game, and evidently he has.
Well, Chris Pronger's enjoying the action. Kind of nice where he's a spectator for once.
Yeah, I'd rather see Chris still with the pads on, but now that the Blues are done, it is good to see him at the ballpark, and we may need him in this series.
Well, we might have really caught a break.
Evidently, Jeremy Burnitz has been thrown out of this game.
Looks like Mouton coming out with a bat. Is that Mouton right there?
We're checking it. It looks like James Mouton. Cardinals have hit opposing batters 26 times this year. Interesting, Al, that the two top pitching teams in the league, the Dodgers and the Cardinals, evidently they both pitch inside a little bit.
I wonder why you win when you pitch inside. Of course, Milwaukee's on that list. Vina leads the National League in being hit by pitches 11 times. So, I mean, we might have caught a break having Burnett's thrown out of this game. And we're just speculating, but it appears that way. And maybe Bonilla's gone from our side, but a bench guy for their cleanup hitter.
James Mouton, veteran outfielder, been around for a while, a .235 batter. Matt Morris hasn't pitched in the last 9 minutes.
Well, you know what makes it look bad is he hits a home run in the upper deck. It's foul, but you're coming inside with an 0-2 pitch, hits him. And of course, as I mentioned, with all the bad blood and all the hit batsmen on both sides in the Milwaukee series, both teams are kind of looking for anything to instigate, a beanball or throwing match.
And it did appear, Al, that Jeff Jenkins was going to have a few words for Matt and then he was going to proceed down to first base. It was when others intervened that things got a little ugly. So Burnett's has been ejected, and is Bonilla gone as well?
I have not said Bonilla.
Okay.
But we may not know that until after the game.
A runner at first and 2 outs. James Mouton, the batter. He's got 13 less homers and 35 less RBIs than Jeremy Burnett's. Takes a pretty good hack and fouls it straight upstairs. This is how crazy the game of baseball is. Not that we hope this happens, but sometimes when these things do happen, then the guy who comes off the bench with low numbers turns out to be a guy who might be a very key batter in this game. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a breaking ball is fouled. Not a lot of emotion in the ballpark. Cardinal fans absolutely roared while Al and I were on camera when they announced Mark McGwire in the lineup. Now we've had some extracurricular activity here in the first inning. And then we're going to have Big Mac come up second when we come back from our first break. So we've got a lot of things going on here on Memorial Day so far. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Off-speed breaking ball, and Mouton got a piece of it. Meanwhile, the Cubs did not score in the 4th at Cincinnati. They still lead the Reds 4-3 behind Julian Tavares.
Well, you just take care of business with your own team and everything else will fall into place.
Yeah, Cubs have won 7 straight after their 8-game losing streak. Cardinals had a big part of that. There's a great block by Matheny on a breaking pitch low and away. And the count's even 2-2.
Mike Matheny, watch him get down there, block the ball in the dirt, and see, you use the glove really to kind of keep the ball from sneaking between your legs, but you use that chest protector to engulf it and keep it in front of him.
Overpowers him with a fastball, but it's fouled out of play. It's kind of odd on this Memorial Day. Not all the National League teams are playing today. Houston is not playing. Neither is San Diego. They open up a series out west tomorrow. Pittsburgh is hosting Florida, and that's the other NL Central team in action today.
See where Matheny's asking for the ball in the dirt. Has supreme confidence that he can block that ball at any time, and that is such a relief to a pitcher.
2-2 count. And a pop-up, short left field. Here comes Ray. And there go the Brewers. A hit batter, an ejection, and Milwaukee loses a batter, Jeremy Burnett, and they strand a batter, Jeff Jenkins. Cardinals are batting .275, second only to Colorado in the National League, 4th in runs, 4th in homers, and the Southwest Airlines starting lineup looks a little bit stronger with that Punch and Judy #2 hitter in there. Fernando Vina followed by Big Mac.
We found out that Tony La Russa and Bobby Bonilla have been ejected from this game, as well as Jeremy Burnitz.
Rest of the Cardinal lineup with Drew batting so well, Pujols, Edmonds, and the Cardinals will take on Paul Rigdon. He's the other half of our Chrysler Jeep pitching matchup today.
He's appearing for the 11th time. He did defeat the Cardinals in Milwaukee last week. Cardinals got to him a little bit early. He has walked 28, struck out 38, and he's hit 3 batters. I don't know why I'd give that statistic.
Fernando Vina. And the Brewer defense tied for first in the league percentage-wise. Only the Phillies have made less errors. It's brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Brewers have made only 24 errors in 48 games, and James Mouton replaces Jeremy Burnitz in right field. Backdoor breaking ball for a strike, and Fernando's in the hole 0-2.
Vina led off the game with a base hit and eventually scored against Rigdon, and in the 4th inning he was hit by Paul.
Fernando plunked 11 times this year, and the 0-2 pitch, he wasn't even going to get out of the way, and somehow the ball missed him.
Yeah, I think it went between his legs, but
now there's a situation, Al. This pitcher would not have been thrown out for that. It was a little breaking ball down around his feet.
Well, if he would have been, it would have been obviously the wrong call. And there you see that technique where Vina almost tries to throw the leg into it. It was a breaking ball in. But if you're a pitcher, and even though your team has been warned, you still have to pitch your game, and you have to pitch inside.
Greg Biggio not allowed to wear all of that padding that he used to wear. Nevertheless, he's still second behind Fernando in the National League hit by pitch department. And the 1-2 delivery up the middle. Backhand stop. Loretta, good play. Safe at first. And he probably would have been safe even had Richie Sexson picked it cleanly. Jim Joyce, the first base umpire, gave an immediate safe sign. And folks, here comes Mark McGwire.
There's the nice play by Loretta, short hop, and he jumps for the bag. That's a good way to get hurt. Don't not run through the bag. Don't jump for it, because that's how you can turn an ankle or end up here, you crashing and falling down. But Vina's really been a spark plug. He just continues to get on base to lead off innings for the Redbirds to start a game. He's been outstanding.
Here's Mark taking a strike. Vina and I were laughing in the clubhouse a couple of hours ago. I said, Fernando, you're going to get on first. Mark's going to take a couple pitches so you can steal second. Then he'll bunch you over to third.
Well, you know what happens?
I don't think that's going to happen.
It's a $50,000 to ARF if he sacrifices. Jim Edmonds is paying.
And a swing and a foul. Mark quickly in the hole, 0-2. During batting practice, McGwire did drive a few balls, but, you know, there were some ground balls and some low-line drives and some pop-ups, and Al, you touched on it. It's going to take a while for the timing to come back.
Incredible the way he has performed here, you know, and take away the earlier this season, and then with, you know, coming back to the knee season, it seemed like every 2 games he'd hit at least a home run.
They're not playing the 3 on the left side shift against Mark that a lot of managers do.
But they sure are playing deep.
0-2 in the outfield. They sure are. Fernando Vina has stolen 7 bases in 9 attempts. By the way, Vina just extended his hitting streak. He's now at 8 games, 12 for his last 30.
And he's also reached first to begin the Cardinals inning, 7 in the last 8 games.
So you got McGwire up there now. Then Drew, Pujols, and Edmonds. This is as potent a 1 through 5 as you will find anywhere in baseball. Devon White's about 5 steps in front of the track in dead center. 0-2 pitch. High and tight with a fastball. Not a bad 0-2 pitch by Paul Rigdon, who's 3-1 on the year with a 4.01 ERA. This is his 11th start.
Now, Rigdon will make a lot of mistakes with his changeup.
He's given up 7 home runs in 58 innings. Crowd anticipating some early fireworks here. And Mark hangs tough. That was not an easy pitch to get a piece of.
Run leaders, 96 to 2001, 278. Sosa on that list, Griffey.
Yeah, it's amazing the difference a couple of months can make. Now everybody's talking about Barry Bonds as the man who may challenge Hank Aaron someday.
Well, you know, if Mark has to get going, or Barry Bonds will pass him this year.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Ground ball deep short. Should be a couple. Pena went right after Mark Loretta, and they still turn the 6-4-3.
Been a very clean play, and former teammates, and they expect this. This is a way you tie to middle infielders and base runners can settle a score. And watch him go hard in here. The whole key is look at where can he still stay on the bag? Yeah, he's right on top of it. So he went in hard, and that's how you play baseball. You try to disrupt that throw and avoid the double play.
Brewers turn, their 48th of the year. Bases empty, 2 outs. J.D. Drew is next. Look out. And fortunately, the bat hit the last panel of the screen. About 3 more feet, and that thing would have been into the seats.
They got balls and bats going on every place.
I tell you, for a scoreless first inning, Al, we've had a few thrills.
You know, Kathy Hanser just stopped bringing her glove. She needed something more than the glove.
And a little tapper. Paul Rigdon will throw out J.D. Drew, and that's the end of the first inning. Each team gets a base runner. Each team has at least 1 guy ejected. The power of Richie Sexson coming up in the second. Hey, come to the ballpark Friday night. All fans 21 and over with a paid admission. The first 25,000 of them. You'll take home a stylish Cardinal Budweiser visor. Compliments of the official beer of the Cardinals. That'll be Friday night. Reds will be in town for the weekend after this 4-game series with Milwaukee. Top of the second, Richie Sexson leads off for the Brewers. He goes up hacking. This guy's got power to spare. 10 home runs and 34 runs batted in. Richie Sexson came with Paul Rigdon, Kane Davis, and a player to be named later from Cleveland in the Jason Beret, Bob Wickman, and Steve Woodard deal last July 28th, as the Brewers traded some excess pitching to Milwaukee, or rather to Cleveland, and they got this big power hitter among others. It's been a pretty good deal for both ball clubs, really. And a breaking ball with the swing and the miss, 1-2. Cardinals pitching staff 3.86 as a staff. Number 2 in the National League to the 3.78 of the Dodgers.
Relievers are number 1 now in the National League.
Mike Matthews has been both.
He will be performing tomorrow. Boy, he took a lot of heat from his teammates for giving up 2 home runs. He won his first start, or his first major league win as a starter in the big leagues against Milwaukee, and he gave up 3 hits in that game, including 2 home runs to Sexson, who was his minor league teammate in the Cleveland organization. Everybody razzed him, saying, oh, you knew you were going to get the win, so you could go ahead and take care of your buddy.
Darryl Kyle, great yesterday. His record now 7-3 with a 3.09 ERA. And a fly ball to right. That's a good job, but look at that thing go. Look at this ball drift. That was a little fly ball, and it kept going and going, and J.D. caught it at the base of the wall about 355 feet away. Bank of America takes us inside the numbers, and the Cardinals very efficient lately with not putting free passes on board.
That's over 35 innings. Of course, Darryl Kyle has issued only 2 free passes in the last 3 starts. Andy Bennis no walks in his past 2 starts. Matthews walked just 2 in his 2 starts.
And a breaking ball, a beauty to Tyler Houston. There's the ERAs we talked about. Cubs right behind the Cardinals. And the Brewers at 3.94 are number 5. So 3 of the top 5 pitching staffs in the National League are in the NL Central right now. Tyler Houston, former Brave and Cub, was with Milwaukee, or rather Cleveland, for a little while before coming to the Brewers as a free agent last December 20th. One ball and 2 strikes. Matt Morris basking in the sunshine and the warmth here today. Swing and a miss on a pitch away. In a couple of different ways, Al, he looks different than he did his last start.
Yeah, Matt will never make any excuses, but he kind of was going to the batting cage as I was going up to the broadcast booth, and he kind of shared with me that he was under the weather, and you really could tell it with his stamina, just the way he got ahead of hitters but couldn't finish them off. And already today you can tell that he's feeling much better, and he's excited about this start. He wants to go right after these guys.
Jose Hernandez. Well, you know, after the team's been gone for a couple of weeks, then you've got Memorial Day. There's almost an opening day feel to this thing today. Bomarito Automotive Group with their leaderboard, and there's Matt. In home games, the ERA of 1.22. Overall, we mentioned earlier, it's 2.69, number 6 in the league. And those are wonderful numbers, but I'll take those 6 wins at the end of May and maybe 7 if he gets one today.
Think the way Matt has pitched at home, he's 4-1 with that 1.22 in 5 games, and is in his last 3 starts at Busch, 3-0 with an ERA of 0.78.
Wow. 2-1 pitch, and that'll even things up, or rather make it 3-1. Jose Hernandez, the longtime Cub, a .250 career batter.
Tell you what, he had a very good series in Milwaukee. Hit a lot of balls to right field.
Tries to pull this one. Renteria charges for the 2-hopper. And a routine second 1-2-3 for Matt Morris. Hey, Big Mac's already batted, but Albert Pujols is coming up. Edmonds and Langford to follow in the bottom of the second. What's on Tap brought to you by Budweiser. The crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. Fox Sports Net with the Cardinals action. Our next telecast will be Friday night. Yeah, this will be the only TV for the 4-game Milwaukee series, so make your ticket plans for the rest of the week. Call the Cardinal Charge line, 421-2400. Cardinals got a huge walk-up today once the news of Mark McGwire being in the lineup got out. Cardinals didn't have to make a roster move, obviously. We haven't mentioned Larry Sutton, who was designated for assignment, and we want to wish Larry all of our best. Just one of the most classy young gentlemen you will ever want to meet, and we wish Larry the best, and he has just been a great Cardinal. Hit into some bad luck early in the year, couldn't get his batting average up any higher, but had some great moments this year. Larry Sutton's the kind of guy any manager would love to have at his clubhouse.
Yeah, I talked to Larry and said, "You okay?" And he goes, "Hey, I don't understand. It's nothing personal. It just need to go down there and get my act together." And you know, we all wish him the best. You're absolutely right.
Larry and his wife Monica, just 2 wonderful people. And the leadoff man Pujols retired in the second. Now it's up to Jim Edmonds.
Having dinner last night with Jim Edmonds, we had walked into a restaurant that Tony La Russa was at. He sat down with us for a minute, told us that McGwire was going to be activated and batting second. And Jimmy said, "I'll pay whatever if Beanie gets on base and you give him the sacrifice." So Tony said, "Okay, $50,000. He said, "It'll be worth it."
Edmonds trying to pull that outside pitch, grounds out to Mark Loretta. Ray Langford is next. Happy 25th birthday. Now it says happy 25th birthday, then happy birthday 10 years, Ashley Lewis. So somebody's having a 25th today. We know Ashley Lewis is having a 10th birthday, so our very best to her. Nadine and A.T. Wolves from St. James, Missouri are here celebrating their 60th anniversary at the ballpark on Memorial Day today.
Dan Farrell's birthday.
Cardinal marketing guru, broadcast director. And you and Dan McLaughlin may have talked about this on the road trip, Al, but it was a loss for the Cardinal family when our ex-president Stuart Meyer passed away recently.
Very unfortunate. Long illness, and
great baseball man for a lot of years.
Just a wonderful gentleman. And we wish our best to Doris and the kids.
And a fastball up and away to Ray Langford. Ray hitting at 272. he fouls off a tough little breaking ball down and in. You throw that pitch to Ray, you better get it far in and not anywhere near the inside corner of the plate. He loves it down and in with that quick bat of his.
He's got a real good slider, but and his fastball, he'll spot on both sides of the plate, but it seems like a high percentage of the time he hurts himself with his changeup.
That's a pretty good one there. He had Ray reaching way out for that one. His first strikeout. 5 in a row for Paul Rigdon. 4 of them for 5 outs on grounders, and now the strikeout. He's in good form. No score after 2.
Into the top of the third we go. Scoreless game. Matt Morris back on the hill for the Cardinals. And in the stands, captain of the St. Louis Blues. I know he'd much rather still be playing. Chris Pronger joins us. Well, we had some pushing and shoving, and if that happens again, you can throw on a Cardinal shirt and get on there.
I was hoping to. I was getting all excited when I saw the benches clear. I thought we were going to have a hockey game.
I know you're a baseball fan, but would much rather be skating still.
Yeah, definitely. It's pretty tough. I didn't really watch Game 1 the other night, and I'm sure I won't watch Game 2 either.
Yeah, you know, that's probably right. Once you're knocked out of the playoffs, it would be tough to sit down and watch the game, I would think.
It is. Definitely knowing that we should have beat that team. It was pretty disappointing with the way things transpired for us, and you know, I think everybody's still kind of in a little bit of shock and mourning, and can't really understand what went wrong for us.
You picked a great day to come to the ballpark. McGwire back in the lineup, but I think you need a little sun.
I do. That's why I got my shirt off. I got to start getting some sun. I'm a little too white for June.
You are. This is the epitome of a Cardinals fan right here. He's just sitting with his shirt off, watching baseball. It's great to see you here. I know the Blues root for the Cardinals. As the Cardinals root for the Blues, when you guys are playing, these guys are talking hockey. You know, it's great to be in St. Louis that way, isn't it?
It is. It is. I know quite a few of the Cardinals. They're real big hockey fans, and in turn we come down to the ballpark and root them on. It's great, and you know, St. Louis is really great like that. The fans really get involved in all 3 sports teams here, so it's a lot of fun, whether it be coming to the Cardinals games or Rams games or them coming to see us play. So you know, we just got to support each other.
Have fun today. Don't get too pink.
I'll make sure I don't put any sunblock on.
Chris Pronger in the ballpark today, guys.
One of the outstanding players in hockey. And a lot of people are saying now that it appears the Blues, they might give Colorado a better series than New Jersey might give them after losing 5-0 in the opener the other night. Casanova, the catcher, number 8 man. He takes a breaking ball low and inside from Matt Morris, and we have started the top of the third with a full count. Pitcher on deck, and then Devon White. 3-2. He hacks one to right field. Matt Morris had to throw a strike, and Casanova jumped all over it. Switch hitting catcher who shares some time with Henry Blanco, who is outstanding defensively.
And you'd rather have a man earn the way on. You don't give away free passes. He did so, and that's fine. That's the first hit of the ball game for the Brewers. Now Blanco is an excellent catcher, but just terrible hitter right now, and so Casanova getting more playing time.
Paul Rigdon leads the Brewers with 4 sacrifice bunts, and that one goes foul. And there was a big debate, Al, last year about the Gold Glove. A lot of people said, well, Henry Blanco's just as good as or better than Mike Matheny. And my argument to that was, hey,
missed a month
who
of
played
season.
more games?
Yeah.
Mike Matheny played 128 games. Henry Blanco played 93. That's
Here's
a 35-game difference.
Well, one other aspect, too. One team finished in first place.
Bouncer. There's a play at second. Out there. And Renteria holds on with Casanova coming right into him. That ball bunted a little bit too hard. And somebody on the infield, probably Mike Matheny, had some great communication going here, Al.
Well, that's it. It's the catcher who is the one who will yell to the pitcher. Plays behind his bat. And Matt really kind of hung out his shortstop. You want to throw the ball chest high down there, and he holds on to it. Not bad form, but he didn't deaden it. You got to pull it when you make the contact. It's almost like catching the ball. Just let the bat come back into your hand to deaden it, and then you would have been able to get the man sacrificed over.
Now you make the pitcher run for a while.
That's even better from our standpoint.
There's a hard breaking ball to Devon White, who bounced to second first time up.
Casanova You appreciate it, go in there hard, but he really could have hurt Renteria. Could have roll blocked him.
And a half swing for a foul.
Career numbers in those 199 home runs, and you're talking about a guy that's a great defensive center fielder. He may have lost a little bit of step, but he has 11 grand slams out of that 199, and 3 of them have come this month.
He's hit by a pitch. That's a breaking ball. On an 0-2 pitch, Matt Morris gets him on the leg with a curveball. And it'll be first and second, 1 out.
There you see 0-2, the breaking ball, and not much of an effort, just took it right around the knee, but the intent is most important, and it was not deliberate.
Devon White, you saw the home run total. He has also stolen 333 major league bases.
Not with the
He's
pitcher.
got a pitcher 90 feet ahead of him, so he's not going anywhere unless Mark Loretta drives them around. Cardinals looking for a double play ball here. Mark Loretta with a 5-game hitting streak. This is only his 7th game of the year.
He had a ligament tear in his thumb late in spring training and was activated, I think, a week ago Saturday.
Last year, played only 91 games because of a broken bone in his left foot. And their other young infielder, Ronnie Belliard, who used to be, well, he was the guy who was going to replace Fernando Vina at second base. He's only hitting .246 and only hit .263 last year.
Well, they got 4 interior infielders that they're trying to find playing time, so one of them has to sit all the time. And Houston is more of a third baseman. Fernandez is a true shortstop. That's what Loretta's best position is shortstop. Davey Lopes knows that Loretta's not as comfortable playing either second or third, but he wants to play too.
On a pitch low and away, a strikeout. Mark Loretta went reaching, and Matt Morris has strikeout number 2.
Matty's just got great stuff. Great makeup as a pitcher, very aggressive. That power sinker out away from him. He got an exceptional curveball, occasional changeup, but you know, he just makes his pitches do a lot more things. His career mark at Busch Stadium, 17-12, ERA just 2.5, and overall he's 25-17 as a starter with an ERA under 3.
Here's Jeff Jenkins, who was hit by the pitch last time up. It was an 0-2 pitch after a long fly ball, and Matt Morris got him up on the shoulder. Come on, Matt. That's all he said. And it appeared that things between him and Matt would die down, but then others got involved. Eventually, Jeremy Burnitz was thrown out. So was Tony La Russa with Bobby Bonilla.
See Matt come back inside again. I mean, you've got a guy that hits 30+ home runs consistently. You don't want to get his arms extended. You have to pitch him inside.
This guy is 6', 200. He is a powder keg at the plate.
And look where he holds his hands high. You want to come up and in with him.
Matt misses low and inside. He's one pitch away from loading the bases with James Mouton next.
And as a pitcher, you can make a pitch, and you should have the right to be able to ask the umpire, where is it? And what you're not trying to defy his authority. You're just trying to say, hey, let me get an understanding where your strike zone is. Was that inside, or was it called too high, too low?
3-0 pitch.
And he throws this pitch. You go, yeah, that's where the strike zone is. Yeah, we're on the same page.
3 balls, 1 strike. Big breaking ball. If there was a table out there, that one would have dropped right off the edge. Now the Brewers can move their runners with a 3-2 pitch, 2 outs.
Well, you see how it just falls off the table at 12-6 as you're looking at the clock. No sweeping movement to it.
No speed at second, great speed at first. There they go, and Jenkins just manages to foul that ball off. In fact, it's not beyond the possibility that a one-hop base hit at somebody could result in a runner thrown out at home plate. There's also the possibility that Gary Allenson, the third base coach, you never know, might not even send the runner. But they do not have Jeremy Burnitz on deck. It's now James Mouton.
Or where the third base coach is with this situation, and a right-handed batter, he is in a position where he can wait till the last second to either send his pitcher at second base or stop him.
And he better be looking out the corner of his eye at the left-handed batter, who is only about 55 feet away from him. A sliced line drive foul could be most dangerous.
You know, I've seen a lot of coaches that don't even look. And it seems almost impossible because you got to pick up the ball too.
3-2 again, 2 outs, 2 on, scoreless game, top of the third. First of 4 between these two in this series. And a breaking ball hammered into center. Edmonds is there, and he kind of turns around and grabs it. That ball might have been knuckling on Jim a bit, and the Brewers get a base hit, a hit by pitch. They strand 2, they've left 3. Hard hit ball. Matt says, do it, Edmonds, and he did. Bob Carpenter, Al Raboski, Mark DeJean, and Rich Gould here at the ballpark.
And talking about the network, just got a nice little note from our Warner Brothers affiliate, UPN 59 in Bloomington, Illinois. And this is from Mike Martin. He and his brother Matt are here, and they want to say hello to their parents, Joe Martin and Mother Mary, that watch have the parents of 9 Cardinal fans that watch on the local WB affiliate in Davenport, Iowa.
Quad Cities. Hope everybody up there is okay with all the flooding they've had in the upper reaches of the Mississippi. I know their ballpark was underwater up there for quite a while. Quad City Bandits, I think that's the club up there. Edgar Renteria, the Cardinals' number 7 man. Cardinals have sent up the minimum 6 in 2 innings against Paul Rigdon. 0-2. And a breaking ball low and away. Renteria, Matheny, and Morris in the Cardinal third. Edgar gets jammed. Slow ball. Out to short. Hernandez out on a close play at first. Jose Hernandez must have thought he was playing in the thick grass of Wrigley Field, as low as that thing was going.
Well, they also have very thick grass in their new ballpark, as they put it here. Very close play and a nice play by the shortstop, and he does get Renteria right at the wire. Took a solid effort, and he was answered the bell. I've always liked Jose Hernandez. I always thought he was a pretty good player.
Solid guy. Always bat. 270, 275 for you. Hit for some power. Low and away to Mike Matheny, whose batting average down to 216.
You know, we can obviously find better shortstops, but sometimes, you know, you have to have a guy that stabilizes.
Right.
Can't always have, you know, afford a all-star or, you know, go out and pick the highest paid player.
Well, down through the years, Al, there have been many in baseball who have said, if you have to have offense from catcher and shortstop, you don't have a very good ball club. Those are 2 critical positions for defense and for running things on the infield. And we don't care what Mike Matheny is hitting, as long as he just does what he's been doing back there. 1-2 pitch, reaching, little flare, base hit, and the Cardinals have their second hit of the day.
Now you've got 2 different ball clubs. You've got the club that plays in their new ballpark and has a phenomenal record of 15-7 or 18-8. Ours is 15-7. Or you can talk about the club that goes on the road and dismal at 7-15. And you see they don't hit, they don't score as many, they hit less home runs, and they don't pitch as well. The tale of 2 cities.
Anybody know who the best home team in baseball is? It's not Seattle. perfect bunt by Matt Morris. Sexton to Loretta. 3-4 on the sacrifice. Scoring position, 2 outs for Fernando Vina. Mike Matheny down to second.
Cardinals practice their bunting, practice hitting more, and that's a pitch that's up. Very tough to do to get on top of it, but Matt does it perfectly, and not a play at second base at all.
The best home team in baseball, playing in that wonderful baseball mecca called the Metrodome in Minneapolis.
Oh, really?
Are the Twins with a record of 20-8 at home.
Well, and we'll see if that holds up.
Yeah, Cleveland is relentlessly pursuing them, only a half game back.
Now,
Al, I was there last Wednesday. They had 26,000 for a noon game last Wednesday, 29,000 the night before that. So they're excited in the Twin Cities about Doug Minkiewicz and their Minnesota Twins. A ball club with a payroll, probably 1/3 to 40% of most major league clubs, 25 million. Fernando Vina with a chance for his 17th RBI here.
Could see some of the pitching coming around last year, and you know,
Brad Radke, Eric Milton, Joe Mays, Mark Redmond, one of their youngsters on the DL right now.
Remember, he outpitched Ainkeel in a game last year. And got some. They play good defense.
Yeah, they got a good closer in LaTroy Hawkins. Tom Kelly's teams have always played great defense up there.
And like you say, Minkiewicz is a great story in its own right. You know,
former Florida State Seminole like J.D. Drew. 1 ball, 1 strike. A little backup slider stayed outside. Paul Rigdon, 25 years of age. He's 6'5", 242. They call him Big Rig. He's from Jacksonville. He played his junior year in Gainesville for the Gators of Florida. All SEC that year. School known for pretty good baseball. 2 balls and a strike. Fernando Vina, of course, an Arizona State guy. Two balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. First time the Cardinals have had a runner as far as second base. And Fernando made it to 8 today with a first inning infield hit. He's 12 for his last 30.
And Matheny has extended his to 2 games.
And a little jam job, pop fly left center, rushing on, and Devon White getting there. He doesn't run after the ball, he just cruises. And Rigdon cruising as well. Cardinals strand their first base runner. So Fernando retired. We go top 4. No score. Well, school is just about out. It's time for the Cardinals crew, brought to you by Chevy's Fresh Mix for all kids 15 and under. A lot of wonderful benefits for club members. You can visit any Chevy's for details. Log on to the Cardinals at stlcardinals.com or call the switchboard. Or you can have Sean Bertani stop by and tell you all about it. Hi, Sean.
Hello.
Good to see you again.
Good to be back.
Tell us what's going on with the Cardinals crew for the year 2001.
This year is an awesome year. We've got Jim Edmonds as our featured player this year, and he has really gotten into the club this year. He is giving away his game-used memorabilia to kids that join in monthly drawings. He's going to sit down with one of our members who's going to win the chance to be a sports reporter for the day, and they will interview Jim, and we will publish that in our newsletter.
That's very cool. Now, over the years, you've had kind of an increasing membership every year. How many kids last year?
We had about 3,500 members last year, and we're anticipating more than that this year. We do have kids in about 32 different states right now that have joined the club.
That is so cool. Top of the 4th, and a swing and a foul straight back from James Mouton. Flied to left first time, replacing the ejected Jeremy Burnett. Do other major league clubs have programs like the Cardinals crew?
There are some. I'd say probably most clubs now do. There are a couple that do not.
And we appreciate everything Chevy's Tex-Mex has done for the Cardinals crew over the years. Well, how many years is this now? This is about 4 or 5, right?
This is our 5th season.
Wow.
Every year we feature a new player. This year, as we mentioned, is Jim Edmonds.
A members-only autograph party at Busch Stadium coming up later. There's your guy. No balls, 2 strikes. and a breaking ball that hangs up and in. What else do we need to know?
I'll tell you what, this is a great value. You're going to get over $70 value of gifts and items. Some of those items include 3 tickets to upcoming ball games. Kids can come on down and watch Jim and the Cardinals in person. Great Jim Edmonds baseball cap, and as you mentioned, the autograph party on August 4th.
And a swing and a foul. Matheny couldn't quite hold on. James Mouton stays alive. Richie Sexson and Tyler Houston to follow. Here in the top of the 4th inning, no score. Haven't updated you in a while on the Cubs and the Reds, and the good news from Cincinnati is Reds got 2 in the bottom of the 6th. They lead 5-4. Cubs bat top 7. Chicago and St. Louis in a dead heat right now atop the NL Central. Here's the 1-2 pitch. He offered but laid off the high fastball. All right, so you can call the Cardinal switchboard. You can log on to the website, and when you go to Chevy's, are these the brochures
They
that
are
you can pick
at
up
the
there?
Chevy's restaurants. Absolutely. Please go by, pick up a brochure, send it on in to us.
There's a broken bat, base hit to left. That's how the top of the 4th gets underway. Well, Sean, keep us updated throughout the season how we're doing. Anytime we can help promote the Kids Club, you give us a holler.
Absolutely. We'd love to have all the kids join. There's still plenty of time. Applications are accepted all year long. Keep in mind, for all the kids that are interested, we'd love to have you down for the autograph party. That's Saturday, August the 4th. So get your applications in now. Meet Jim Edmonds and some of his teammates and get some autographs.
All right, Sean. Thanks.
Thank you.
Sean Bertani handling a lot of wonderful community things for the Cardinals. By the way, Sean wanted us also to mention that Steve Klein will have an upcoming autograph appearance this coming Thursday. And a throw over to first. Mouton is back. Steve Klein will be at the Cardinal Clubhouse store at the Galleria at Highway 40 in Brentwood Thursday from 12 to 1:30. He'll be signing, saying hello to Cardinal fans. That'll happen later this week. We had Steve Klein at a fundraiser down in South St. Louis a couple of weeks ago, and he is a wonderful Cardinal. Gets along great with all the kids. No balls and 1 strike to Richie Sexson. He fly deep to right his first time up. This guy can really jack. And he fouls one off. Matt trying to keep that ball down on him. We'd like to see this guy hit the ball on the ground and not in the air. And Al, you were telling me earlier that when the Cardinals were in Milwaukee last week, the ballpark was not playing as small as it was earlier because of the cool weather.
Cool weather, and maybe because it was fully enclosed. They'd have it open up, the roof or the outfield panels that slide open. And maybe something good pitching had something to do with it that day too, or the 3-game series.
Brewers 5th best in the league. Cardinals 2nd best. Cubs are in there.
The day that the ball flew the best was the afternoon game when Sexson hit 2 home runs.
0-2 runner going. Swing and a foul. Straight back. So Davey Lopes, who was an outstanding base runner in his day, getting things going here. Davey stole 557 bases. 16 years in the big leagues. 4 All-Star games. He played in 6 league championship series and 4 World Series with the Dodgers. He was with the Dodgers for 10 years.
As you see, Lou or Davey would not be appreciative of the percentage of steals for the Milwaukee Brewers. They are 15 of 30.
Yeah. Cardinals 21 of 39 coming in. And of course, Davey Lopes, a member of that wonderful infield. He was at second with Billy Russell at short, Ron Say at third, and Steve Garvey over at first. Those guys played together year after year after year. Everyday guys. There's a swing and a miss. Matt Morris with that hard sinker of his, and he fans Richie Sexson for the first out here in the top of the 4th.
6'7", and he's got some holes in his swings, and Matt just found one. So the ball better be moving though.
1 on, 1 out. Tyler Houston, the batter. Fernando has to cheat up the middle for the double play, so the left-hander has a lot of hitting room here, as Mark McGwire has to hold the speedy James Mouton.
And when I looked at the lineup, I said, asked Tony, any reason why Eli Marrero is not catching Matt Morris? First time all season. And he had a very good answer, you know, and a lot of managers do not like that situation where you have a designated catcher for a certain pitcher. And what happens if that guy gets hurt? So you always try to make your pitchers know that they can throw to anyone. And it was nothing against Eli, but he felt that Matheny had had a good offensive series up in Milwaukee and thought it was the right time to make the change.
Runner goes. There's the throw. Oh, my. Right on the bag. Gone is Mouton. Mike Matheny has now thrown out 14 of 22, and that was right on the bag.
His mechanics are so good, and his accuracy is even better. Right there, and make the tag come right in. It's 64%. The Gold Glove Award winner just keeps on impressing.
Wow. And the runner, I might add, Al, had a pretty good jump. So we rounded off to 64% on 14 of 22. Bases empty, 2 outs, and a 1-2 to Tyler Houston. Breaking ball low and inside. So they tried to move the runner earlier, and Sexton fouled the ball off before striking out. Now they lose the runner on a gun by Matheny. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And a jam job. Tyler Houston fouls it off. Mike Matheny won the only non-Tom Pagnazzi Cardinals catcher Gold Glove last year. And we hope it's the first of several. 2-2 pitch. Got him. A great fastball that runs on the inside corner. A single, a caught stealing, and 2 strikeouts in the inning. Look where Edgar catches this ball, folks. That runner is out. For the second time today, Mark McGwire to the plate. Hit into a 6-4-3 double play with Vigna aboard in the bottom of the first. Mark 2 for 22 on the year. Well, first we heard it would be the 1st of July. Then we heard maybe mid-June. Then we heard maybe June 5th. Here he is on May 28th, and he hits one out to center for a base hit. Down toward the end of the barrel, Mark hit it hard. That ball had some severe overspin on it, and it dove into the turf for his 3rd base hit of the year.
You know, it's just a situation where you've got to get your timing back. You can hit bang practice. It's a breaking ball right off the end of the bat.
Good extension.
Crowd, they don't care. Just having him back in the lineup and on base puts a charge in everybody.
See, those are baseball fans. They get excited by a single. That's all right.
And I asked Tony, I said, well, 2-3 at bats today, and he says, no, I've been told, and he kind of alluded to it, but he acted like he had not read the report. You know, the doctors had kind of figured out something yet, but he at least gave me the impression that he was not going to take him out after 3 at bats.
J.D. Drew, and there's a little shot to left center. It is down. McGwire turns, goes for 3rd. Drew into 2nd, and the Cardinals have a 4th inning rally going. J.D. Drew with an 8-game hitting streak.
Well, part of the reasons why Tony wanted to have Mark bat 2nd is because J.D. seems like he's really in a groove, batting in the 3rd spot, and Pujols 4th. Right off the end of the bat, really kind of throwing the bat at it right there. Those are the pitches that really he was so far out in front on before. McGwire takes off, but he has to make sure the ball isn't caught. Then he sees it's down and scoots over there. J.D., had to run hard all the way from the get-go, but he was already slid and standing on the bag before Mark got to 3rd.
First base open, nobody out. 2nd and 3rd, Pujols. Ball 1 inside. Albert bounced out to 3rd first time up. Right there in the RBI race with Mr. Bonds and Mr. Helton. He's 3rd in the league in hitting, tied for 7th with his 14 home runs.
In Milwaukee, they jammed him all the time, and that's what they're trying to do again.
Ooh, that one right over the inner half of the plate. Tony La Russa says, where would we be without Mark McGwire had Albert Pujols not done what he has done?
I remember Pujols got the reprieve and made the team out of spring training because Bonilla started on the disabled list.
1-1 pitch. Breaking ball low. So the count goes to 2-1. Cardinals put hits together for the first time today. They had only had 2 singles earlier by Vigna and Matheny. Jim Edmonds on deck. This could be a big inning here in the 4th. This could set a tone for the entire series right here. 2-1, they're going to jam him. They do, and he fouls it off his leg. That'll even the count, 2-2.
Albert has kind of gotten into a little bad habit of getting too low in a crouch. And then as part of his starting mechanism, he kind of raises back up and he produces a little hitch. You know, he's aware of it, but all of a sudden you get into situations, you know, you try to avoid bending over too much.
Yeah, and every time you think he's cooling off, then he'll get a couple of base hits.
Now he seems more erect.
Look out, folks. He strikes out, and the bat flying over the dugout. We've got a good old duel going on for that bat. And that's the first out of the inning. Jim Edmonds will be next.
Way out in front on the off-speed pitch and way into the crowd, and a little tug of war that between a couple patrons, but that got that gentleman pretty good. And then these two guys get in a little tussle for the bat.
They're going to walk Jim Edmonds to load the bases for Ray Lankford. That'll be the first walk issued today by either pitcher. We've got a couple of guys hit. And Ray Lankford now will step up with a chance to really help the Cardinals. Bases loaded, 1 out.
See what happens with Ray, you know.
Lankford struck out swinging first time as Paul Rigdon kept the ball away from him and struck him out at a changeup, diving down and away. McGwire's at third, Drew at second, Edmonds at first. 1 out, scoreless game, bottom of the 4th. There's that changeup again, and this time Ray lays off, ball 1. You can just see that ball with great movement fading down and away from the left-handed batter.
Remember, I told you he has a tendency, that changeup can be a very good pitch, but a lot of times he will leave it in a bad location and end up getting beat with it.
1-0 count. Ray flies it left field. Pretty deep. Jenkins back near the track. McGwire tags. So does Drew. And the Cardinals lead 1-0. And Mark McGwire takes a tour around the bases for the first time in a long while. Ray Lankford with his 26th run batted in.
And the whole key for Ray is staying on a pitch and driving it to the opposite field. When he does that, he can be a very productive hitter.
Ray with his 26th run batted in. He knew it was deep enough.
Yes, and you know, Jenkins has a very strong throwing arm, and that was really good that JD took advantage and came over to third base also.
The Cardinals have first and third, 2 outs for Renteria. Edgar with a modest 3-game hitting streak. What a great time to add to that now. He came into this game 5 for his last 12, and this is a bat at the bottom of the order the Cardinals need more production from. He's batting only .246.
Yeah, but finally got his average over 200 when he's facing a right-handed pitcher.
That's a breaking ball. He was trying to pull that thing. And here's what you were talking about with Lankford. Just needs to stay on that pitch, maybe try to drive it the other way.
Especially with Ray, because his natural power is to the opposite field. And I mean, if you throw him inside and he can turn on that one, but if he stays back on the ball, is when he can be more dangerous.
No balls, 1 strike. And a bouncer. Great base running by Edmonds. He saw that pitch in the dirt and he was off with it. And he's down to second. They're going to call it a wild pitch because it bounced so far out ahead. No steal for Edmonds, who was hanging around, and then alertly he knew that was going to be a tough one for the catcher to handle.
Absolutely. He saw the ball bounce, you just get away. But it has to go with instinct and anticipation, thinking, well, I'm ready to run. And it's the kind of that lead where you take your secondary lead and get yourself moving towards the base.
Now a base hit buys the Cardinals an extra run. 1 ball, 1 strike. I'll tell you one thing, if Edgar can get a base hit to center, Devon White's not going to throw anybody out. In this game, he has played as deep a center field as anybody I've seen in this ballpark this year.
Of course, we've seen him just glide under a lot of balls that are in front of him or left and right, but I agree with what you're saying. The ball gets down, it's 2.
He's never had the strongest throwing arm. Edgar's got to make contact here on 1 and 2. He's looking at a steady diet of breaking balls. Target away. High fly ball out of play down into the field boxes. Edgar feels like he should have done a lot more with that pitch. He was late for it.
Well, you know, as a hitter, if you know that everything's going to be away, and then you get that fastball out there, and you've got to drive it, and he knows he got away with it. Don't always have to know what the pitch is, but it really is helpful to know which side of the plate.
1 and 2, 2 on. Strikes out on a breaking pitch. Mark McGwire triggered the rally with a leadoff single. J.D. Drew doubled him to third, and Ray Langford brought Big Mac home with the sac fly. 1-0 Cards. This portion of Cardinal Baseball is brought to you by Steak and Shake, famous for our steak burgers, and by Hyundai. Driving is believing. Test drive a Hyundai at your local dealer today. One of our favorite Cardinal owners, Drew Bauer, with our own Rich Gould. Guys,
he's down here. Mr. Bauer's here. Mr. Hounsard, I tell you what, this is where you would expect to see the owners on a beautiful day for baseball. And we got a bonus, didn't we, Mr. Bauer, when we saw Mark McGwire in the lineup?
Oh, man, it's just great to have him back. He looks terrific. I know he's excited. That single had to really pump him up. And it means a lot to the team to have him back.
You follow the Cardinals day to day. You're always here. Did you know before the game, when did you get word that Mark McGwire was going to play?
Well, I was on the golf course, and I got word there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, 14th hole, and you said, the heck with this, I'm coming to the ball game.
You got it.
See there, they'll give up a golf day on a beautiful Memorial Day to come here and watch.
all right, Rich, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bauer.
Notice the scrambled eggs on Mr. Bauer's hat.
Yeah.
On Memorial Day.
On a day we pay tribute to those who have fought and sacrificed, men and women, for the freedom that we make the mistake of taking for granted way too much.
And the Cardinals and all of Major League Baseball will take a moment during today's game to remember those who sacrificed their lives for our country. Throughout baseball today, all games will pause for 1 minute at 3 p.m. local time to reflect on the true meaning of Memorial Day.
That is great. 24 minutes from now, Jose Hernandez leads off for the Brewers, top of the 5th, and a 2-2 pitch is fouled right back below us. On this Memorial Day, we'd like to wish a happy birthday to Sarah Karobi, 3 years young today. Shirley Karobi's granddaughter. Nice
Shirley
going,
could have
Sarah.
told me it was her granddaughter. I thought it was somebody else. And here's a base hit down in the left field corner.
Ray out to get it. Runner going to second. We've got a play. He is out. Langford turns and puts it right on target. Getting to know your ballpark over the years, and Ray Langford played the carom perfectly.
Well, you know what? Hernandez, I talked about it, that, you know, we're so used to see him hit the ball to right field, but he did have a big base hit. He had a double, a base is loaded clearing double, now right inside the third base bag, and I'm sure Ray remembered that. Boy, did he hustle, get that ball, and throws a strike right to Vina. bang play. You can't argue with Hernandez trying to stretch it into a double, but a little better defensive play and nice going, Ray.
Oh, second assist of the year. Fernando Vina had to hang tough. That runner coming in, spikes flying, laying that glove down in front of the bag. There's a chopper. Matt Morris can't get there. Vina will. Can he throw him out? Yes, but McGwire can't quite pick it out. Mark had to go down into the dirt on the backhand side, and they will give Raul Casanova a base hit.
I was kind of really in no man's land and kind of rushed the throw right into the dirt, and McGwire tries to backhand it. That's one of those little plays. I'm sure, you know, in a week or two he's going to have a better shot at that or make the play. Infield single.
Now a chance for the pitcher to sacrifice the tying run to second base. Bunts it hard. Play at second. Not this time. Real good jump off the bag by Raul Casanova, and Rigdon has his 5th sacrifice bunt of the year.
You can't force things. You would like to get the lead man, but you have to get one. And percentage was that you get the one at the first base bag. This time he doesn't quite stab at it a little bit, just pushes it back, and you see they had plenty of time to get the pitcher.
Top of the order for Devon White.
You okay?
I'm just playing with our bobblehead doll.
I know. I was getting a little
he's
worried
kind of
about
cute.
You were getting awful excited playing with Edmonds over here.
We're going to tell you about bobblehead doll night next Sunday, and we got Jim Edmonds up here.
Oh man, I'm an expert at playing with the bobblehead.
There he is.
You can't do it. No.
I'm not bobbling correctly.
You're not bobbling correctly.
I think he's a little thirsty. There, now maybe he can bobble better. Show us how to bobble.
Oh, hey, we're on defense. When you defense, you got to show the Jim Edmonds 2000 Rawlings Gold Glove winner, St. Louis Cardinals. You know, you massage the bobble head if you want offense.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
So I was not massaging the bobblehead quite correctly. Was I being too rough?
You were rough.
Sorry.
Always associate roughness with you.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That one low and inside to Devon White. They used to call them bobbing head dolls. Now they're bobblehead dolls.
And by the way, we saw the Barry Larkin version.
2-2 pitch and a great breaking ball by Matt Morris. We're going to bobble our way into the bottom of the 5th inning. Matt Morris outstanding. Ray Langford, great throw to second. Vina, tough tag, and the Cards lead still. Sunday night, Cards Reds, brought to you by Coca-Cola and Walmart. It's bobblehead night featuring Jim Edmonds here at the ballpark for the first 30,000 fans of all ages with a paid admission.
See, you like him, don't you?
Bobbling. It feels kind of good, you know.
Oh, gosh.
We may be onto a whole new massage therapy sort of thing here.
Folks, here we go. Let me show you. Coca-Cola, Walmart, they even got the Rawlings insignia over here. And if you turn around, there's Jim Edmonds. From defense, we got the Jim Edmonds 2000 Rawlings Gold Glove Award winner, St. Louis Cardinals. And of course, there's later on this season, there's going to be a Mike Matheny version. But we're on offense, so you've got to be kind. Talk, Jimmy, talk.
He's like Harry Truman. He talks softly and carries a big stick.
Yeah, Mike Matheny's going to have his own version. Be a little easier to tell.
I don't know, this one kind of looks like Mike Matheny.
Well, the other one looks like Jim Edmonds with catching gear.
Okay.
No, they're great. They're great.
So Matheny's going to have his catching gear on, huh?
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
He has the catching gear.
One ball.
You can't have a bat because they commemorate Gold Gloves.
That's very cool. Very cool. Bobblehead down night here, Sunday night, Cardinals Reds. 1-2 pitch to the Cardinal catcher, way outside. Bottom of the 5th underway. Matt Morris next. Fernando Vina against Paul Rigdon, who has thrown the ball pretty well so far. We're going to take you back in Cardinal history 48 years. That was a very instrumental year in the history of the Cardinals with new ownership. 2-2 pitch. Matheny on a changeup strikes out. And that's number 4 for Paul Rigdon. This day in history brought to you by our friends at Schnucks. Steve Bilko of the Cards banned 5 times in a tie with the Reds. That was when the Cardinals had to catch a train to move on to their next city, and there was a curfew attached to that to catch that train. Wabash Cannonball had to get out of town, and the Cards had to be on it. 1953, of course, was the first year that Anheuser-Busch took over ownership of the Cardinals. Sportsman's Park became Busch Stadium, and August Busch Jr. would forever change the history of Cardinal baseball as the Redbirds owner. Mr. Busch poured a lot of money into the old ballpark to make it a nice one. And a 1-1 pitch by Matt Morris is fouled away. Of course, the Browns were in St. Louis up until that time. They departed and became the Baltimore Orioles.
How much did the Busch Stadium originally cost? 35
what?
million.
Oh, this ballpark?
Yes.
To build this ballpark in the mid-60s, Al, was I think around 26 to 28 million. It was under $30 million to build Busch Stadium. The new Busch Stadium.
Gussie Busch donated $5 million to get the project underway, and became
Matt Morris gone. And of course, this ballpark revitalized downtown along with the just completed Gateway Arch. They brought the Spanish Pavilion from the New York World's Fair under our mayor A.J. Cervantes at that time. That's the building that now houses the Marriott right across the street. And a whole lot of other downtown development with the parking garages, the old stadium cinemas, which are not down here anymore.
Yeah.
Remember those?
Sure.
That's where Mike Shannon's restaurant is right now, one of the old stadium cinemas. There were 2 of them. There's a drag bunt by Vina. Couldn't get it by the pitcher, so he's gone. Cardinals go 1-2-3, bottom of the 5th. Rigdon and Matt Morris hooking up nicely. Martin Loretta will lead off in the top of the 6th for the Brew Crew, but the St. Louis Crew leads 1-0. Cardinal baseball is brought to you by the President Casino, now electrifying the landing, and by Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order it. Is that Keener Plaza? Where are those ducks? Could it be Forest Park? Horseshoe Lake?
Keep on going.
What other bodies of water around here? Tower Grove Park. I've seen ducks down there. Well, wherever those ducks are, we are downtown, top of the 6th, 1-0 Cardinals over the Brewers.
A tough road trip for Milwaukee. They're 1 hit by Kerry Wood. Had rained out on Saturday. That was Friday. Then rained out on Saturday. Scored 1 run yesterday. So, and shut out again here today.
2 balls, no strikes. And the old adage in baseball is that speed never slumps. Well, the last couple of years, the Brewers have completely turned their back on that style of play. They were 3rd last, ahead of only the Mets in Montreal with 72 stolen bases all of last year, and a base hit to left field for Mark Loretta. This year, as Al mentioned, their percentage is awful, 15 of 30. So they're a power hitting club now, and they can be susceptible to a slump. Hey, you can win Cardinal tickets and participate in the Southwest Airlines Family of the Game promotion. All you have to do is send your name, address, and phone number to Southwest Airlines Family of the Game, P.O. Box 771192, St. Louis 63177. Good luck. Our Family of the Game just minutes ago up there in right field with Fred Bird attending. They won 4 season passes to Six Flags. We've seen Families of the Game win Cardinals season tickets and autographed baseballs and all kinds of wonderful memorabilia.
You know, today is Six Flags Day at Busch Stadium. Great giveaway and promotion. And of course, we have some on this homestand. We got some other great ones, including the bobblehead. But
Budweiser Visor Night Friday. And it's up and away to Jeff Jenkins, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Saturday is Kids Day hat.
BJC Healthcare Kids Cap Day for all kids 15 and under.
Got an autograph of Mark McGwire on the Cardinals cap.
And then later on in June, Southwestern Bell Pin Night commemorating the division champions. McDonald's Collector's Coin Day. There's a pop fly left side. Renteria's got the angle and the ball for the first out. And with the tying run on first base here in the 6th, that's a big out. When you can retire Jeff Jenkins, especially with Jeremy Burnett's not in the lineup after being ejected in the first inning for jawing with the Cardinals skipper Tony La Russa. Bobby Bonilla was also ejected during that time. And so batting for Burnett's is James Mouton. His 3rd AB of the day. He's 1 for 2 with a single. Matt Morris pitching beautifully again. Al told you how wonderful his ERA has been here at home. No runs on 4 hits through his first 5 innings. He's fanned 5. Hasn't walked a batter. He's hit a couple. Loretta's base hit leading off the 6th here, the 5th of the day for Milwaukee. But all of them singles. And a perfect fastball to the outside corner.
Pitch count for Matt Morris. 85 pitches. .85 pitches for Matt. Uncharacteristically, the last 4 innings, he's allowed the leadoff man to get on base, but they haven't scored yet.
Well, Matt gets tougher, doesn't he, as the game goes on? I don't know about stronger, but he sure is tougher on opposing batters. And here's the 0-1. That's a fastball inside. That'll get your attention. That evens the count. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That usually gives you that consistent 7 innings. He's worked 7 or more innings in all but 2 of his 10 starts.
2 to 1 strike to ball ratio there, Al.
Yep. Then the first start against Colorado, and then the last start against Milwaukee when he wasn't feeling well. Other than that, it's 7 or more innings.
How about that 3rd time through the lineup with an opponent's average of 171. 2 balls and a strike.
I think he wanted that last pitch, but he doesn't let it affect him.
And with that hard sinker, a ground ball right at somebody for a double play is always a possibility. Mark McGwire holding Mark Loretta. Short lead. 2-1 pitch. Ground ball, but it's a base hit. Perfectly placed between 3rd and short. And the Brewers have 2 men aboard for the 2nd straight inning. And James Mouton is 2 for 3.
Yeah, 2 for 3. Normally a pinch hitter, and he's hit pretty well in that role, but getting his 3rd plate appearance here because of the ejection of Jeremy Burnett to start this game, and he's made the most of it.
Raises his average from 235 to 270 with a 2 for 3 so far. And next up, look out here, Richie Sexson. Cardinals lead by 1, but there is power to spare in the batter's box now. That's a high towering foul ball. You can see how big of a swing he takes.
Just watch the mannerisms of Matt Morris. You know, if you're a hitter and you're trying to find a crack in the armor, you're trying to find a weakness, and Matt will never present any type of fear.
Big breaking ball. He has been compared physically to Dave Kingman at 6'8", 215.
Yeah, and there you see the big long swing. He has a blind spot out away from him. They're going to try and throw the ball up. He's really a low ball hitter.
He's from the state of Washington, Richie Sexson. In high school, he lives in Portland now. He's a big Trailblazers fan. But in high school, he was all-state in football, basketball, and baseball. And a 1-2 pitch. Got him on a breaking ball. Strikeout number 6 for Matt Morris. Sexton 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts.
Here he comes with that breaking ball, and instead of being away, kind of came back on him a little bit, but still there's that little bit of a blind spot too. And that's always talking about a short compact swing. At 6'7", you got long arms.
Matt Morris has rung up Tyler Houston twice already. Both times swinging. Every one of Matt Morris's strikeouts today have been swings. That time he nabs it, throws out Houston, and the Brewers, who are slumping, have stranded a frustrating 6 runners today. McGwire, Drew, and Pujols coming up for the Redbirds. 1-0. Welcome back to Busch Stadium. During the between-inning break, we just had our minute of silence commemorating those who have gone before us that we celebrate here on Memorial Day, the men and women of our armed services over the years. And a wonderful moment of silence here at Busch Stadium, followed by a great ovation by the crowd and a little "You're a Grand Old Flag" by Ernie Hayes on the organ to cap it off. Cardinal baseball on KPLR TV, WB11. Don't forget tonight, WB11 News at 9 comes your way. Catch up on all the day's events. Catherine Jamboret's Rich Gould and Marquina Brown tonight at 9 on WB11 for our St. Louis audience. There will not be a moment of silence in a second when they announce Mark McGwire. We'll let you hear John Hewlett bring Big Mac to the plate.
Leading off, first baseman Mark McGwire.
Longtime Cardinal public address announcer John Hewlett, the star of KC Radio. And we go bottom of the 6th with Mark McGwire, J.D. Drew, and Albert Pujols. Bob Carpenter, Al Raboski, Rich Gould, our Bud Sports crew, proud to be with you on Memorial Day from Busch Stadium.
It wouldn't be a good Memorial Day without a little fireworks, would it?
You're reading my mind, partner. Well, maybe Big Mac will get a hold of one. He hit the ball hard last time with a leadoff single in the 4th. Went to 3rd on a Drew double, scored on a Ray Langford sacrifice fly. Mark goes up hacking and fouls it. Suntrup Automotive trivia today from the Suntrup Automotive family. Wow, there's an interesting one. The day Babe Ruth passed away, what former Cardinal was born? Babe Ruth right behind Hammer and Hank. There's a breaking ball. There it goes. See you later. Number 2 on the year, 556, and we do have some Memorial Day fireworks. This man's flair for the dramatic over his years in St. Louis has been unbelievable.
Salute to the Cardinal ownerships and his teammates. 556 for Mark. You don't think we can have some fun? There's that hanging breaking ball. He recognized it right away, kept the hands back, and let it fly.
And fly it did, just under the Stadium Club. Crowd on its feet. They want a curtain call. J.D. Drew stepping in. Mark in his post-home run ritual down near the bat rack. And the 1-0 to Drew. Ball 2, low and inside. Even Dave Duncan's down there clapping. Here comes Mac. What a moment. 2-0 Cardinals. J.D. Drew with an 8-game hitting streak with that double 2 innings ago. Vina has added to his today. 3-0 to J.D. is in there. So Mark McGwire with number 556.
In Cardinal history, it ties Roger Hornsby for 4th place with 193. Ray Langford is 3rd with 218. Then only Kenny Boyer and Stan the Man.
Well, if Mark McGwire stays around to hit as many as Stan did in the Cardinal uniform, he will surpass everybody.
Yeah, and I tell you what, we have talked about the great walk-up in attendance today. Is got the pitch inside. Breaking ball, he recognized it, and he just didn't miss it. Yeah, I mean, that's not a timing pitch for Mark McGwire. And the crowd, they haven't done this for a while, but they remember how to do it. 381 feet on Mark McGwire's 2nd home run of this season.
Cardinal fans have always been some of the most conditioned in baseball because Mark gets them up and down out of their seats so much.
Isn't it interesting that the Cardinals' 70th home run this year is hit by Mark McGwire?
Yeah, number 70. There's a high fly ball from Pujols. Near the track. Where's it coming down? Home run! Number 15 for Albert. And the Cardinal big boppers from the right side have tacked on 2 here in the 6th inning.
That one was just right at the 70 sweep. So Albert Pujols, he got juiced watching Mark McGwire, listening to the crowd. All of a sudden now it's a 3-0 lead. The fastball, they've been trying to pound him inside. This time he turns on it, opens up, got underneath it, high towering fly ball. He just didn't know if it would carry, and it just had enough.
Al, you have to be so strong to hit a fly ball that high out of any ballpark in baseball. Unbelievable strength possessed by McGwire and Pujols. And the Cardinals have now hit 71 on the year. Albert registers his 49th run batted in.
Looked like he was checking to see his bat, see if it chipped. 343 feet on Albert's home run.
And the Brewers will get their bullpen going with right-hander Will Kinane. 1 out in the inning, 2 runs in. Jim Edmonds is next. He wouldn't make it 3 in 1 inning, would he? Hits it hard off the pitcher, and fortunately it stays right there for Paul Rigdon. 2 outs.
I'm sure they'll have a trainer come out and check him. After you've given up a couple home runs and you're on the losing side of a 3-0 lead, you don't want to show any pain.
Yeah, Richie Sexton tells the Brewers trainer, either John Adam or Roger Kaplinger, that he's okay. Says our pitcher's fine. And here's Ray Langford. Pujols in front of you, McGwire in the background.
Mike Easler knowing where the camera is. I have so much fun with Easy.
Is he something? Hey, those hitting coaches, they are so delighted when things like this happen. They work endless hours with these guys. And a 3-0 count now to Ray as he took that changeup. Langford 0 for 1 with a sac fly back in the 4th that gave the Cardinals their original 1-0 lead.
Mike Timlin and Steve Klein are throwing in the Cardinals bullpen.
Maybe with that Matt Morris pitch count in mind. Matt about to work into the 7th inning. 3 balls and a strike. And Ray jacks one to the gap in right center. Extra bases here. He's heading for second. Ball picked up by Devon White, and the Cardinals have 3 extra base hits in this inning. And Ray's hit the ball very nicely his last 2 times.
Ray Langford stays on that off-speed pitch and just drives it out into right center. So he got the Cardinals started with a sacrifice fly, then the 2 home runs, and now man out of scoring position. Apodaca's come out to talk to his pitcher.
Former Mets pitching coach Bob Apodaca running the pitching show for Davey Lopes. Who was the former Cardinal born on the day Babe Ruth died? Wow, pretty good hitter, Mike Jorgensen.
Pretty good farm director, Mike Jorgensen,
yes,
running the Cardinals minor league system.
So Mike will be 53, no 53 this 53 this August. Good baseball man. He was a very good player, very good hitter. Hit one of the most damaging opponent home runs in the history of the Cardinals.
You know, I was warming up when he hit that home run off of Bob Gibson. And
there's Renteria, but he hit it too well. Right at Jeff Jenkins, but in the 6th, the Cardinals dial long distance. First, it was number 556 for Mark McGwire. Then 1 out later, it was number 15 for Albert Pujols. 3-0 Cardinals. Mike Timlin is in to replace Matt Morris, who pitches 6 shutout innings.
Timlin's going to appear for his 22nd time. He has 1 win, 2 losses, 3.65 ERA, 1 save, and the opponent's batting .295. 24 plus innings, 28 hits. Pujols moves from 3rd to 1st, and Polanco will take over at first base.
We are assuming this is a double switch.
Yes.
We'll wait and see, because Mark McGwire, the man who's out, batting in the number 2 hole, which is only 4 spots away, but the number 9 hole is only 2 spots away, so we're assuming that Tony has Polanco batting 9th. Or Mark DeJean, officially, because Mark is running things in the dugout with Tony ejected.
And now Mark coming out there, so he may have making sure that they are on the same page of where they're batting in the batting order. Okay, that's what he's doing right there to make sure.
Yeah, because normally when you make a double switch, it's for somebody who just got finished batting, maybe made the last out of the inning. But in this case, Mark about 5 or 6 spots back, and now we are told that Polanco is batting 9th and the pitcher is batting 2nd. Our game summary: Mark McGwire, the solo shot, his 2nd of the year, number 556, and Matt Morris hits 2, walks none, 6 hits, strikes out 6 in 6 shutout innings, and he's in line for his 7th win of the year. Al, you mentioned earlier how good the Cardinal bullpen has been. They're going to have to work 3 innings now today.
They're number 1 in the National League. And the good thing is even though they had to get 8 big outs yesterday and they were outstanding, Timlin wasn't one of them. So, you know, he's a fresh body today.
Strike 1 to Jose Hernandez. In the Cardinals' favor in this inning, the fact that the Brewers are at the bottom of their lineup.
6 strikeouts, 2 hit batters, and 1 sac fly. 6 innings, 6 hits, no runs.
Mentioned the Cardinals bullpen is number 1. And look at the Brewers, they're 4th.
Now Mike DeJean warming up, a former.
They're tied in ERA. You know, 3.27 bullpen ERAs, and the Brewers, you don't want to give them a lead after 8, as they have been perfect in that department. The Brewers are 24-0 when they have a lead after 8 innings of play. Mike James trying to look for signs.
And there's a big strikeout on a big breaking ball by Mike Timlin. That's the Cardinals' 7th K of the day.
You know, he has great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. And I think Dave Duncan is going to just make him even better. He's had a great career, and the Cardinals have tried to acquire Timlin for a couple of years. And Duncan's forte of taking these veteran guys and taking them to a next level. It's hard to imagine Timlin going to the next level because he's got such great stuff and had success.
Brewers will bat for their pitcher next. Raul Casanova, 2 for 2, and a foul ball off to the left. Mike Timlin admitted to me in spring training, he said, hey, I've been a thrower my entire career. Dave Duncan is helping me become a pitcher.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing that's amazing is, you know, a guy that's got 100 plus, what is it, 111 or 12 saves?
112.
112 saves, and yet he's always done it just as a thrower. To have the abilities he has with 2 pitches.
He looks unhittable so far. Casanova, no balls, 2 strikes. By the way, in Cincinnati, the Cubs got 2 in the bottom, or rather the Reds got 2 in the bottom of the 6th. Cubs got 2 in the top of the 8th, and now the Reds bat in the bottom of the 9th, trailing Chicago 6-5. So the Cubs are in line to win their 8th in a row. Cardinals will have to win to stay tied with them. So on a day when the Cubs haven't had that great of pitching, they managed to put 6 runs on the board against the Reds. Cincinnati is struggling. 8.5 games behind the Cardinals and the Cubs. Houston has lost 7 straight. They're off today. And there's a high fly ball to medium center. Jim Edmonds with that bobblehead going, waiting for it to come down. 2 outs. Now we'll see Luis Lopez bat for the pitcher.
That was a good changeup. Little Luis Lopez, little switch hitter.
Former San Diego Padre, was with them for 4 years. Didn't play in '95 because of surgery in his right elbow. Was with the Mets the last couple of years. And he came over to Milwaukee in a deal for the left-handed pitcher Bill Pulsipher. That's a nasty breaking ball right there.
I mean, he has a great slider, and he can throw 95 miles an hour.
So Paul Rigdon gives up 3 runs in 6 innings on 7 hits. And a bouncer out to second. Vigna waits for it. 1, 2, 3 for Mike Timlin, and the countdown is on. Cardinals after 6.5, leading by 3, and the Brewers only have 6 outs remaining. Edmonds put one away. We told you about that great giveaway weekend. Saturday will be Kids Cap Day here, brought to you by BJC Healthcare. All fans 15 and under with a paid admission get that wonderful Cardinal bird on the bat. Mark McGwire with a signature on there, compliments of BJC. That'll be Saturday. Cards Reds. Budweiser Visors Friday. Kids Cap Saturday. Bobblehead Dolls Sunday night. Happy Memorial Day to you. I know a lot of you folks are at home barbecuing today. Got the grill going, enjoying Cardinal baseball, and Mike DeJean comes in to take on the Cardinals in the bottom of the 7th.
Off to a very good start. The ERA under 2 and 1 save.
Brewers have done some wheeling and dealing with the Rockies lately, and DeJean one of those deals for what, Juan Acevedo, part of that deal?
Right. And I'm sure he is very happy to get out of Colorado, as Leskanic was.
Yeah, Juan Acevedo back to the Rockies for the 2nd time in his career. Acquired by the Brewers with Mark Leiter and infielder Elvis Pena in exchange for Juan Acevedo, the former Cardinal, and Kane Davis, who came over with Richie Sexson from Cleveland, so he's really been on the move.
And Rigdon.
Yeah. Mike Matheny, 1 for 2 with a base hit today. And that pitch outside, 2-2. Cardinals trying to beat the Brewers and even the season series at 2. Last year, the Cardinals beat the Brew Crew 7 out of 12 and 4 out of 6 on this diamond. There's a good fastball to the outside corner, and Matheny knew it. Mike DeJean with some giddy up on that 91-mile-an-hour heater.
Davey got to see the tailing action back to play. Looked like Davey Lopes got a tattoo. It says Davey on his arm just to remind him what his name is. No, come on, he's a good guy.
Davey is one of the best.
I tell you what, he knew how to win, didn't he? 263
career batting average, 1,671 hits, 557 stolen bases. And everybody, he was just one of those guys everybody knew would be a manager someday.
There's Polanco with his first plate appearance.
Placido at 329 with 9 RBIs.
Got a hitting streak on the line of 9 games. Placido, 50 hits, 43 are singles, which ranks second to Vina in the National League.
And a 1-1 pitch is a high chopper to short. If it bounces again, it's trouble. And a very good play by Jose Hernandez. Normally a shortstop will try to get that ball before it comes down. Jose couldn't, but he handled it beautifully after that second hop.
Well, you better be aggressive. You know, anytime, right off the plate, so a high bouncer. Now you see the tricky little hop. It's almost either you do it or you don't. He never could get down there to get the ball, so he had to wait for it to come up and hopefully hit in his glove. And he's got a good strong throwing arm, so he makes another tough play.
Here's Fernando Vina, 1 for 3. Fernando batting .309. And right at the shortstop, Jose Hernandez. Easier play this time, and the Cardinals go quickly in the 7th. Well, there have been a couple of tattoos today by McGwire and Pujols. Davey Lopes Brewers down by 3 into the 8th. Two of the good journalists in our market here, TV and newspaper, a little bit of radio as well for Bernie Miklasz. He's with our Rich Gould.
Always great to talk to Bernie, and what a game to talk about today. I mean, when you have a perfect Memorial Day, when you see the performance that Matt Morris has given the Cardinals, and then the big guy getting a home run, this is where the Cardinals certainly gave the fans their money's worth.
Nice holiday surprise. You get Mark McGwire back. He starts the rally to get them their first run. Then he hits a typical McGwire bomb. I mean, it just reminds everyone what a formidable power hitter this guy is, and what kind of team they're going to have with him in the lineup, especially now they have pitching, which they didn't have during his glory years in '98, '99.
It probably isn't fair to ask you, because you're not going to write a column tomorrow. If you were going to write a column tomorrow, what would you focus on in a game like today?
It's a glorious day. I mean, it is. This is the St. Louis baseball experience here today. Doesn't get any better.
Bernie Miklasz in the house today, and on a personal note, best wishes to Bob and Joanne Powers down in Branson, Missouri. Over the weekend, they celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary. I practically grew up down there, and so I want to wish them all the best, guys.
Thank you, sir. You certainly can do that. I'm surprised Rich Gould isn't down there playing at one of those theaters down there along the strip.
Well, Steve Klein coming into this game. So Timlin goes a perfect inning. Now Klein will try and duplicate that. And you have Dave Veers in the bullpen just as insurance. Yesterday, the bullpen had to get the final 8 outs to help Gerald Kyle, who picked up his 7th victory. Matt Morris will equal that if the bullpen gets the next 6.
Top of the order, Devon White, and Steve Klein throws it in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Devon White 0 for 2, hit by a pitch today. And he jacks a breaking ball foul. That ball was way in on him as Klein threw the curveball in on his hands. It'll be White, Loretta, and Jenkins. And by the way, we've got a couple dozen of our friends from Japan here at the ballpark today. Marty Hendon introduced me to them earlier. From the Japan Walking Association, enjoying Cardinal baseball today. Some of our Japanese friends, they've got a whole group. They are walking from coast to coast, and today they stop in St. Louis to watch the Cardinals. And as soon as I saw them, I said one word: Ichiro, and they all lit up. And of course the young man Tsuyoshi Shinjo, who's doing a great job for the Mets as well right now. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the 2-2 from Klein. Well foul again. Want to let you folks over in the Belleville area know about Rick Arndt and his Safe at Home Foundation. Cardinal pitching, throwing nothing but goose eggs over the span of 2 equivalent ball games now. 18 consecutive scoreless innings.
2 innings in Saturday afternoon's game or Saturday night's game, and then a shutout yesterday, and 7 shutout innings here today.
Renteria comes forward, gets the big hopping on the Pujols for the first out here in the 8th inning. Today's copyrighted telecast, presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinal Baseball, a production of Bud Sports and an exclusive presentation of Big Dog and Fox Sports Net. The Safe at Home Softball Classic will be over at Lauderman Park in Belleville on Saturday, June 16th. Everything gets underway at 6 p.m. Former Cardinal Darryl Porter is scheduled to stop by, talk to the folks, play a little softball. You can call this toll-free number for more information, 888-937-3376. That's 888-937-3376. And there might be a couple of Cardinals who make it by as well on Saturday, June 16th. It all benefits Safe at Home over in Belleville. And the Reds came up big for us, Al, in bottom of the ninth. Now the Cubs don't score, top 10.
Yeah, so let's root for those Reds.
1-1 to Mark Loretta, and that's a perfect pitch by Klein on the outside corner.
Steve Klein has just fallen right into sync with the rest of the relievers and teammates here. This guy really is fun to be around and very good-natured, keeps everybody loose.
That he does.
You know, Steve Klein is the only left-hander of the 3 that's given up a hit to a left-handed batter. And even he has been outstanding. Klein has allowed just 4 hits to 33 left-handers. You see the lefties are only batting 121. Christensen is a perfect 4 for 4. Matthews, who will make the start tomorrow night, is unbelievable. He is yet to allow a hit to a left-handed batter in 31 at-bats.
So collectively an .059 batting average, 4 for 68. Lefties against Cardinal left-handers with no home runs. 2-2 pitch. And a little golf shot out of play to the right side. It's about pitching, folks. You can hit 70 homers like Mark did in '98. You can knock down the walls like the Cards have done the last couple of years, but if you don't have the pitching to go with it, it's what's keeping the Cubs afloat right now, because their lineup doesn't scare anybody. We talked about Minnesota earlier. Pitching is what makes it happen for Seattle, with baseball's best record at 36-12. So it's great to see the Cardinals staff 3rd in ERA, actually 2nd coming into today, and in the bullpen actually number 1. 3-2 pitch. Out of play again. Dodgers are hosting Colorado later. They started today 0.08 of a point ahead of the Cardinals in ERA for the league lead. Is it only on holidays we show the wave? 1 out, bases empty, top of the 8th. Cardinal fans having some fun. There's a pitch inside and a walk. Now let's talk about the Cardinals pitching in the month of May.
Well, ERA at 3 is first. Batting average are second with 276. Home runs are third. And runs per game, they're averaging 5.4. That's 4th best in the National League in the month of May. And that is the first walk allowed in this game by the Cardinal pitching staff.
Cardinals playing very good baseball. A .667 clip as they've gone 16-8 in the month of May. There's a high fly ball from the bat of Jenkins. Backing up Drew. JD is there. 2 down. Jeff Jenkins didn't miss number 10 by much. He just got under it.
We just showed you that graphic of how well the lefties retire left-handed batters a little bit early, just to set up the stage.
Little suspense there, huh?
the end of the bat, and that's why he just got underneath it, and it stayed in the ballpark. What a difference right now is we're going to have a pitching change, as Dave Veers will probably be called upon to get the final 4 outs. But instead of facing Burnitz, you've got James Mouton, who's really having a fine day. He's 2 for 3, but doesn't have the power of Burnitz. And Polanco will probably be part of a double switch. Pujols will go back to third, and maybe Paquette or somebody.
Looks like he's turning in his first baseman's mitt.
Yeah, and then we'll see who go out to play first base.
That kind of looks like the old schoolyard here, just throwing gloves all over the place and then switching positions. So Pujols will go back to third. Eli Marrero is running in.
Yeah, he may go ahead and play first.
Lots of wheels turning. Cardinals lead 3-0 in the top of the 8th. The runner on board with 2 outs. James Mouton against Dave Veers. We'll bring you back to Busch in just a minute or so. It's 42,455 enjoying a wonderful Memorial Day. Eli Marrero will bat second and play first base. Albert Pujols goes back to third where he started the day. And then the pitcher spot is back in the number 9 hole, as Dave Veers will take over, and it is a save situation for Dave.
Absolutely, appearing for the 20th time. ERA 1.45. He's picked up 7 saves and 7 opportunities, and 1 Friday and 1 yesterday. 18 2/3 innings, 23 strikeouts. He is in quite a roll. There's 23 strikeouts in 18 2/3 innings, including 15 in his last 10 1/3 innings. He has allowed just 2 hits in his past 7 games. That's a 2 for 23, an .087 average, and hasn't allowed a walk in his last 11 appearances.
It has been a litany of success for the Cardinal bullpen lately.
All the hard work that Dave puts in. Now, you'll watch him after a game on the road. He'll go run on the treadmill, does his weight work early in the morning.
James Mouton 2 for 3, pair of singles today. The Brewers have not had an extra base hit. Cardinals have out hit him 7-6. But the Cardinals have had 3 extra base hits today. Make it 4, 2 doubles and 2 homers. Drew a double. McGwire and Pujols home runs. Langford a double. Now it's 0-2, and this is about as much as you'll see any right-handed batter not named McGwire played to pull. Look where Renteria is over in the hole.
Yeah, a little strange, but the defensive chart will show that that's where he'll hit the ball.
Well, both of his singles have gone that way. One was a line drive cleanly into the outfield. The other was a ground ball between Pujols, who was then at third, and Renteria. Back in the 6th.
Pretty much straight away in the outfield, but if he hits the ball on the ground, he will pull it.
Brewers need base runners. They're down by 3. They've only got 4 outs left to work with. And Veers bounces one, but that's okay when you've got Mike Matheny behind there. Thing about Matheny, now that he's won that first Gold Glove, Al, he's got the reputation that's known all around baseball. And I'm not saying it's easier to win the second one than it is the first one, but once you've got that reputation, people look a lot more kindly on you in the ensuing years.
Yeah, it is easier to win the second one.
2-2 pitch. Got in. Down and away. Beautifully placed by Dave Veers. And the Cardinal pitching shutout string continues. Bottom of the 8th. 3-0 St. Louis. Cardinals lead 3-0. We've had some great moments today, and the number 1 moment is our Bud Light play of the game. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
Well, Mark McGwire, in his return today on Memorial Day, he's 2 for 3, including his 2nd home run of the year, 556 of his career. Cardinals had a 1-0 lead, and he added to it, and then Pujols gave him a third.
Here's Eli Marrero, who's having a very good offensive year at .279 with a couple of homers and 6 runs batted in. Batting in the number 2 hole now. And now that Eli's offensive game has come around, he can help Tony La Russa in so many different ways. Obviously, catching his number 1 forte, but he can play first. You can put him in the outfield probably if need be. He can pinch run, he can get a base hit, and he's got one right there. Deep short, and even had Jose Hernandez grabbed it cleanly, the speed of Marrero would have achieved the base hit.
I think we're going to see more times when Eli's going to get opportunities to play other than catcher. Bounces that ball in there, and Davey Lopes has seen enough. With Drew coming up, they're going to go to their only left-hander in the bullpen, Ray King.
Now, last week you saw an infield at Miller Park, and they've got Wrigley-like turf trying to gobble up ground balls in that place.
Now, really, it was a situation where they have had to replace all the infield grass, and because they were only home for a 3-day stand, they let it grow, and then they'll cut it the next time. But it was exceptionally high, and when we were playing there at Miller Park.
Ray King takes over, former Cub. 36 games with the Brewers last year, and the Cardinals lead 3-0. Net on Friday at 6:30. Cardinal fans having some fun today. And even the little ones able to relax on a nice Memorial Day. Hope you're having a good time, whether you got the barbecue grill going and some cold ones on ice. Hope you've enjoyed Cardinal baseball today. We've got a little bit more for you. Hopefully not much before the boys wrap up this return home from a 7-5 road trip.
This might be a long outing for Ray King. He's got three of the next 4 batters are left-handed. He usually comes in just for a hitter or 2.
I've always wondered if a balk is a deliberate attempt to deceive the runner. Why is a fake throw to first not? Low and inside, ball 1, smothered there by Raul Casanova.
Ray is appearing for 27th time, .295, .270 ERA on the road, but only 18 1/3 innings. The last time he pitched, he faced the Cardinals on May 24th. Struck out Edmonds looking, and then Edmonds was ejected by the home plate umpire for arguing the call.
Well, evidently something wrong with Ray King, who has thrown 1 pitch. I wonder if he hurt himself on that fake throw to first. Kind of an unnatural motion to whip your elbow and your arm out there and then not throw the ball.
All right, let's take a look at what you're talking about. Step off.
Not the most natural looking thing.
.6'1", 230, 27 years of age, from Chicago, and that's where he came from, the Cubs.
Lives up in Canada now, does Ray King. 1 ball and no strikes. The runner going. What a jump. Why even throw? Eli Marrero roaring into second base. And for Eli, his 2nd steal of the year in 4 attempts.
Eli with that great speed and gets a good jump. Go ahead and take it. You know, even though you're late in the ball game, 3 runs is not insurmountable.
Now J.D. Drew with the RBI opportunity against a left-hander. Drags a bunt. It's a good one. And he is. They throw the ball away. Drew's going to at least second. He's going to third. He is safe. That ball gets away, but he'll stay. And the Cardinals lead 4-0. They'll probably give him a base hit and a 2-base throwing error on Tyler Houston.
I would agree with that scoring. So he drags it down perfectly, gets it by the pitcher. He gets screened a little bit, the third baseman, and makes the wide throw, and then it's off to the races. So here's the perfect play. Third baseman barehands it, then throws it away. JD sees it right there, and he makes the determination himself that he's going to go to third base, as Morero will come and score the 4th run, and a golden opportunity for Pujols to pick up a relatively easy RBI.
They have not posted a hit yet for J.D. Drew. Okay, they've only got 9 hits on the board, and the Cardinals, well, they do have 9 now. We will add them up. There's a drive to left from Pujols. It's gone. It hits the padding on the top of the wall and disappears. In a game of inches, every one of them were needed.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. You could tell that that one was a home run. The padding on the top of the wall is still displaced a little bit, and the ball did not come back into the playing field. Multi-home run game for Albert, and now 51 RBIs. Trying to work inside, and this time he's looking for it, got his arms extended, opens up with the hips, right off the top of the wall. It bounces up and over the wall.
And the Cardinal fans want another curtain call. Albert Pujols, 51 runs batted in.
His teammates are trying to tell him to come on up.
Edmonds would like to see it over with. There it is. No balls and 1 strike to Jim Edmonds. And a breaking ball is in there, 0-2. Nobody out in the inning. That homer makes all the runs earned in this inning.
51 now, 2nd place in the National League.
Colorado has not scored in their first 2 innings at Los Angeles, and Edmonds is gone for the first out.
Where he was struggling a little bit, and they've been trying to work him in. They didn't get it far enough in, and he's also conscious of turning on the ball right on top of the padding, and then it bounces off the Busch sign and over the fence. 351 feet. So his 2 home runs just barely leave the ballpark, but in home games he's only failed to hit in 1. At 407 average, 11 home runs, 28 RBIs, and 16 home runs now on the season.
Absolutely amazing. And Ray takes a big hack and fouls it straight back. So the Cardinals get an infield hit from Morero, a stolen base, a bunt hit, a 2-base throwing error, and a 2-run Pujols home run.
Now, I have to be honest, I don't know what Ray King was, what they took the time out to see if he was okay, but I was thinking it was more of a leg injury rather than the arm, so it makes it even more impressive, the steal and the dropping down the bunt by Drew.
Yeah, taking advantage of what is another man's liability. And now it's Edgar Renteria with 2 outs and the bases empty. Edgar today 0 for 3. 3-game hitting streak on the line. They are still playing in Cincinnati. Cubs and Reds in extra innings tied at 6. Reds scored a run in the bottom of the 9th to tie it. And a hot shot down to third for Tyler Houston. This throw's on target, and the Cardinals are gone. 2 singles, a steal, and an Albert Pujols needed every inch home run, and the Cardinals tack on 3 in the bottom of the 8th. And the Redbirds 6-0 into the 9th. Well, Albert Pujols, we talked about this earlier, Al. Just when you think he's about to go into a little slump with some bad habits, a couple of hits, and in this case, a pair of home runs.
Well, he's just been remarkable. I mean, every time you think he was going to fail in spring training, he would respond and impress you more. And gets off the tremendous month of April, and you say, well, it can't continue, and yet it does. And his demeanor hasn't changed. He's bounced around to 4 different positions, you know, even some games playing all 4 positions, and he just continues to do his job and do it well.
Here's Richie Sexson. Cardinals have held him in check today, 0 for 3. So's Tyler Houston, who's on deck. Bottom of the 9th may not be necessary as the top of the 9th starts with strike 1 and Dave Beers. It was a safe situation when Dave came in, despite the score that's 6-0 now. It was 3-0 with a man on board when he came into the game. So Dave could pick up his 8th of the year. And no swing, said Jim Joyce down at first. And now, looking back, things have been very peaceful and very settled down since our first inning fireworks. You made the point, maybe it's better to get this stuff out of the way early, and at least for today, that appears to be the case.
Yeah, and it's just one of those situations where now Mike Matheny's mask, I think, is broke.
And if you weren't with us at 1 o'clock or 1:10 today, we had a bench clearing situation, not a brawl in the first inning, but on an 0-2 pitch, Jeff Jenkins was hit by Matt Morris. It appeared that it was dying down between them, and then Jeremy Burnett started jawing with the Cardinal dugout. Tony La Russa was eventually ejected. So was Burnett. So was Bobby Bonilla. And since then, nothing but baseball. And there you have it. Our little rugby scrum that took place for a few seconds back in the first inning.
Yeah, Tony gets ejected, but yet he has a good staff, and he also has in consultation with them to
there are ways to communicate. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. But I think, you know, as much as we like Bobby Bonilla, getting Jeremy Burnett out of that ball game is, you know, it was pivotal.
We'll credit Bobby with taking one for the team straight up today. 3-2 pitch. You know, Alan, when you think about the manager being thrown out of the game and not able supposedly to be involved in any situations, I mean, we're talking the old days, you know, maybe before there was telephone service in ballparks and dugouts and things like that. And maybe back in those days, indeed, managers could not communicate. That certainly has not been the case for many, many years.
Yeah, and it's not even high tech. It's just you're down there in the runway around the corner, and you
pinch hit Polanco.
Yeah, you know what's going on, and you know you know, okay, Dunk, do this. Mark DeJean, do that.
Yeah, I'm sure a couple of the coaches have gone up to the clubhouse to cool off a time or two today.
He's not in the clubhouse. He's just running around the corner.
3-2 pitch.
You know, there's no way Tony could be that far away from the ball game.
Yeah, folks, it's not like he's sitting in his office with a glass of lemonade with his feet up on his desk. Maybe with a 6-run lead in the 9th, he's more relaxed than he was earlier.
Nope.
You know Tony pretty well, don't you?
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. It was fun to see, as I mentioned last night, you know, at dinner with, and there's a ball 4, but at dinner with Jim Edmonds, and we were in the same restaurant with Tony, and he came over and sat down with us, and to see the real camaraderie between a manager and a player.
Yeah.
And
that's a side of Tony that you and I and the other broadcasters get to see, but it's something the fans don't always get to see. And Tony is very, very affable and can be very delightful with his players and, you know, be one of the guys.
Well, you know, and Edmonds made the point. He said every one of his players really like him. Not only do they respect him, but they like him. You know, one, you have to have respect for your manager, but you don't have to like a guy, and they do like him, and they respond to him. He's a different sort of person, but he asks them to do things to help them win.
A well-hit ball by Tyler Houston. Hits the top of the wall and goes through the chute, so it's a ground rule double. So the Brewers have runners at 2nd and 3rd with nobody out here in the top of the 9th on KPLR TV St. Louis. WB11, the flagship station of our Cardinal television network.
Yeah, this is a tough thing for a closer who's so used to going into tight games, and then you sit there, the team gets you 3 more runs, to go out and pitch the last one. All of a sudden, you're mentally not as sharp. And there's a pitch kind of out over the middle of the plate. and it lodges right.
Now, what are the odds of that happening after Pujols' homer knocks the padding off the top of the wall?
And of course, you say, well, it didn't leave the play of field, but as a outfielder, you go up there and you accentuate it by raising your hands and saying, hey, it's stuck in the ivy like in Chicago, or it's here, it's stuck in the padding, and I can't retrieve it.
I wrote this down. They just told us from the truck that the odds are 3,426,000,000 of that happening.
And now Dave Duncan's going to come out and talk to him.
2-1.
You don't want this game to get away, but it's not uncommon as Steck Schulte starts getting loose. If you're Veers, you got to sit there and say, okay, I do have a save on the line. I don't want to blow it. He hasn't blown one this year. You want to close this out, and more importantly, close out the shutout.
Well, if you lose the shutout, that's one thing. I say, make sure you get an out with this batter.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to. You're willing to give up a run or two or something like this because you created it, and you're not going to let the game get out of hand and lose it.
Matt Morris can be 7-3 if this thing plays out right. And Veers gets it by Jose Hernandez, who's 1 for 3 today.
Sometimes you need a little wake-up call, and then you get your adrenaline, juices flowing again, and you say, "Oh, I'm gonna preserve it." And if you can get the first out, and it starts with first pitch strike, but if you get the first out, then all of a sudden you start going, "Okay, I can still do it."
2 good pitches. 1-2 count now.
And remember, Veers is not your classic strikeout pitcher, but he does get a lot of strikeouts.
1-2 delivery. Had him reaching. Tough play. For who? Nobody's going to score. The other runner stayed as Pujols cut it off in front of Renteria. So the runners at second and third did not advance. Gary Allenson, the third base coach, maybe couldn't tell right away if the pitcher would cut that ball off.
Well, and
now with nobody out, you can't get thrown out of home plate.
I mean, what difference does it make? You're down by 6, and you just can't take a chance out there. You got a guy that's 6'7". Sure, you would like to go. You saw the runner at second base. He almost got trapped, Houston, because he assumed Sexton would be going.
So the bases are loaded on a bizarre play. Cardinals playing back, as they should, outfield at medium depth, and a swing and a miss by Raul Casanova. Richie Sexton over at third base doesn't have the angle that we do up here, so he couldn't tell who was going to cut that thing off.
But I mean, it would be the improper play for the defense to try and get the out at the plate.
Right.
You go ahead and you sacrifice the shutout and get an out, like you said.
Then Tyler Houston, he didn't want to run into a tag.
Yeah, he did a good job to get back.
Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Now, if this runner gets on base, all of a sudden, the Brewers would have at least 1 run home. Maybe the base is loaded, and then you're talking tying run in the on-deck circle. 6 runs seems like so much, but sometimes it can disappear so quickly.
Echeverria swinging the bat in the on-deck circle, and you don't want to get Devon White up with a chance for the bases loaded.
Not the way he hits grand slams. Now it's 1-2 as Veers had Raul chopping at that ball. Boy, how big do those Cardinal runs in the 8th inning look now? It's still 6-0 St. Louis. Bases loaded, nobody out, and a 1-2 pitch. Just tapping it was Raul.
They brought in Dave Veers to get the final out of the 8th inning. Struck out Mouton. Then you get the 3 more insurance runs. If you didn't bring him in the 8th, you wouldn't have brought him in the 9th.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Ground ball right at somebody would be sweet right here. Got him on a pitch low. All bases occupied, so there's no tag required. No place for the batter to run, so he's out automatically. We're told that they're now in the top of the 12th at Cincinnati. Cubs and Reds still tied 6-6. And Angel Echeverria will be the pinch hitter here in the top of the 9th.
2 hits, 2 runs, 4 thirds,
Now the double play puts an end to the proceedings. And Dave Veers leaves one up high, ball one. Philadelphia and the Mets tied 3-3. They're going to extra innings. Colorado trails 1-0 at LA after 2. Diamondbacks at San Francisco scoreless in the second. Later, Florida at Pittsburgh, Montreal at Atlanta. 2 finals in for the American League. We'll slip those in for you here shortly. And a 1-0 pitch. 2-3. Off the glove of Pujols. They will score 2 runs on the play. A sharply hit ball by Echeverria, and it's now a 6-2 game.
Base hit, 2 RBIs.
They're going to give him a base hit. Then when the ball was slowed down into the outfield, Tyler Houston was able to score easily from second base.
He got the awful lot of glove on that, deflected.
Tying run, by the way, is now in the on-deck circle as Devon White steps in, a man who's almost impossible to double up unless he hits a one-hopper right at somebody. And then Mark Loretta. You don't want to see Jeff Jenkins in this inning, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was the 32nd pinch hit of Echeverria's career.
And Veers throws a fading strike to the outside corner. So a walk and 3 hits in this inning. And still only 1 out. Detroit at home beat Cleveland today 12-6. Seattle won again. They win 13-2 at Kansas City. 5 in a row for them. And Seattle is 37-12. Texas wins at Baltimore 6-3. All the other action tonight except for Anaheim and Tampa Bay, they are scoreless.
Philadelphia just took a 5-3 lead over the Mets. They're in the, it's like the bottom of the 10th inning. They've got their score reversed on the scoreboard, but it's.
There's a swing and a miss. And the count goes to 1-2. Yeah, the Phillies 30-18, 6.5 games ahead of Atlanta. They threw some great pitching at the Cardinals last weekend. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 on, 1 out. And a little tapper foul outside first. Yankees at Boston tonight. Blue Jays at Chicago against the White Sox. Neither league is playing a full schedule on this Memorial Day. 6 games in the American League and 7 in the National. 7 and 8 would be full schedules.
Worst thing about this outing is that Veers is throwing an awful lot of pitches.
May not be available tomorrow. 1-2 pitch. Way outside. And again, I keep thinking about the guy, not the man who's on deck, but the man who's in the hole. If it goes that far, Jeff Jenkins.
I've got Jason Christensen.
We do have a left-hander down there. And he is throwing. 2-2 delivery. And a fly ball to center. That's a big out. Edmonds is under it. Now the Cardinals only need 1.
There's the split finger pitch and got underneath it. And Edmonds camped underneath it. And ready to throw if necessary.
2 on, 2 out. Now Jenkins on deck, so you've got to go after Loretta here. Mark Loretta cannot tie the game. If you lose him, Jeff Jenkins can. Cardinal fans starting to clap for that final out, and there's ball 1 outside. Redbirds trying to win their 29th game of the year, and after going 12-12 in April, they could be 17-8 in the month of May. Fastball high. No matter what you do not walk Mark Loretta.
Well, and if you want to pick up the save, you've got to retire Loretta.
Yeah, because you won't be facing the next man.
Well, you just wouldn't think so.
2 balls, no strikes. Low, 3-0. 7th hitter faced by Dave Veers in this inning. And the 3-0 is high. Bases loaded. Jeff Jenkins, and he represents the tying run. Second walk by Veers in this inning. No move from the dugout yet. Here comes Dave Duncan. And it'll be Jason Christensen. The left-hander. Jason Christensen is a guy who most of his career has been a setup man. He has 10 career saves, has never had one as a Cardinal. And Dave Veers will not get number 8 today. He strikes out 1, walks 2, and gives up 3 base hits in 1 inning of work. So it's Christensen against the power man Jenkins with the game on the line. Jeff Jenkins, well, he may bookend this afternoon. Maybe finishing things here in the 9th if the Cardinals can get him after a very auspicious start in the 1st inning when he got hit by Matt Morris. He says, "Come on, Matt," twice.
Then, you know, when the umpires had warned Tony La Russa, Burnitz was the on-deck hitter. He started chewing at him and yelling at him. And then his both benches there that Bobby Bonilla kind of threw a little punch there. That was the only one that happened. So Tony and Bonilla were ejected, as well as Burnitz. Well, the game is right here with Jason Christensen, who's been perfect for his first 6 games. He has not allowed a hit to a left-handed batter this year. He's not allowed an inherited runner to score, and he's retired all 6 first batters that he's faced. He came in and faced Sanders yesterday. They pinch hit with Stinnett, and he struck him out. Dave Veers, they did come back with a scoring change. Echeverria, when his pinch hit, they scored it an E5, 1 RBI.
So Veers gives up 2 hits instead of 3. Here's Christensen and Jenkins, a man with home run power. He's at 9 this year. And he takes a grand slam swing and goes right through it. Ball game exactly 3 hours old with the bases loaded here in the top of the 9th inning. And the Cardinals on top by 4. Outside target from Matheny. And it's out there, and it's fouled away, and now it's 0-2. Jason Christensen has 10 major league saves. The most he ever had in 1 year, 6 with the Pirates in '98. And he has handled Jeff Jenkins very, very well.
And now he's got the 0-2 count. He's in the driver's seat.
No balls, 2 strikes. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Outside target again, and it's Matheny way out there to box it down.
Well, that's outstanding. You know, he asked for his pitcher to not make a mistake in the inner half, throw the ball out of way, don't be afraid to throw it in the dirt, I'll block it, and everything is right there. That was an easy play for Matheny, but that's how much confidence the pitchers have, and he has in himself.
One ball and 2 strikes.
Throw a fastball up and try and get him to chase it.
There it is. Cardinals win as Jason Christensen gets his first save as a Redbird. Took him up the ladder beautifully. And the Brewers settle for 2 runs in the top of the 9th, and the Cardinals win it by a score of 6-2. Nothing but breaking balls, and then the high heat, and Jenkins could not catch up. It takes 3 hours and a minute, and it's worth every minute as the Cardinals have a great Memorial Day here at home. Cardinal Baseball on WB11 was brought to you by Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. By Southwest Airlines, celebrating 30 years of freedom, 30 years, one mission, low fares. By AutoZone, the right part, the right price, and good advice. And by your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals on WB11. A lot of elements to this one today. 42,455 got their money's worth. Some of them may have decided to come to the ballpark when they heard Mark McGwire was going to be in the lineup, and Big Mac rewarded them.
Well, it was really a great game. I mean, it was great to get off the longest road trip of the year and have it the first Cardinals winning road trip of the year. Then you come back to the nice weather at home, and then you get the surprise that Mark McGwire is going to be in the lineup and batting second. Everything was there, but it was also the lingering effects of last week when you're in Miller Park. There were some exchanges, guys were hit, and we really questioned and wondered, would this whole series be under a warning before the first pitch was even thrown?
Well, it wasn't long after the first pitch. First of all, it was round one in Milwaukee last week, and there were some things that went on. Fernando Vina got hit, Darryl Kyle, Pujols got hit hard on the elbow, and the managers had some things to think about in that series. And then, of course, round two, first inning today, Jeff Jenkins takes an 0-2 fastball from Matt Morris, and then things got interesting. And then I guess round three, the capper after some of that rough stuff would be a dramatic home run by Mark McGwire. Right. His single had given the Cardinals earlier one-run lead when he scored, and now this one got them on their way.
And that was two, and then Pujols, he follows with a home run, and then eventually he hits a second home run. So a multi-home run for Pujols, and you know, it's one of those deals where we needed all those runs as it turned out, because Dramatics, as they score 2 runs, one of them an unearned run, but they leave the bases loaded and 10 runs stranded on the day from Milwaukee.
And if the Cubs or Reds win, we'll let you know by the time we leave you in a few moments. But all that matters, Cardinals 6, Brewers 2 here in St. Louis. Cardinals win it by a score of 6-2 today, and they take the first game of this 4-game bout with the Milwaukee Brewers. A little rough stuff early, some home runs later, and some exciting plays at Busch Stadium today. McGwire homers, Pujols twice, and the Cards off to a great start on the homestand. Reds Cardinals Friday on Fox Sports Net. Join us at 6:30 for Al Rabowski and Rich Gould and our Butt Sports production crew, Bob Carpenter. So long from Busch Stadium on a beautiful Memorial Day.